Looking at the tea leaves in the teacup, he wondered if he believed that she would come. Suddenly, he looked outside, and there was a faint smile in his eyes. Sima family, 3 years have passed, and I, Sima Yue, have come to fulfill the appointment. With a loud shout, half of the Sima family was heard. Even the people in the secluded courtyard could hear it. Sima Yuming and the others had already been beaten to a pulp. They were all lying on the ground and did not even have the strength to get up. Sima Yuze left after getting the servants to beat them up. Hearing Sima Yoyue's voice, a few of them started to cry. It really is Yu Yu's voice. Sima Yuming said excitedly. Fifth bro really came? Sima Yuchi looked towards the main door, saying, Sophia Mountain Range is so dangerous, how did she come here? The barrier can only be broken by spirit emperors and above. She's already a spirit emperor? Will we be able to see her? Sima Lai did not speak the entire time, only looking towards the main door. Sima Yue stood outside the main door of the Sima family and shouted loudly, giving everyone who followed her a shock. Sima Yue? Why does this name sound a little familiar? I think so too, I think I've heard it somewhere before. But is there such a person in the Sima family? 3-year appointment. I remember now, 3 years ago, the Sima family caught a group of people who had escaped from the land of exile, but did not punish them immediately. Instead, they locked them up in a courtyard. I heard that they made a 3-year appointment with a junior. That person seems to be called Sima Yue. What? Everyone was shocked. Then you're saying that she came out from the land of exile? Heavens, the land of exile is on the other side of the Sophia family. How did these people come out? I wonder what kind of appointment she made with them. We'll know when we continue watching. I initially thought that they were here to seek refuge with the Sima family, but I didn't think that they were here to fulfill the appointment. A group of people came out from the Sima family and were shocked when they saw Sima Yue and the others. When Sima Yu Yang and Sima Yu Qin heard what Sima Yue said, they were shocked at first before rushing over. After that, Sima Yu Lin and the Hua siblings who were staying here came out as well. You're Sima Yue? Sima Yu Qin looked at Sima Yue in disbelief. Her own friend was actually the one who had made the appointment with their family. Sima Yue glanced at Sima Yu Qin and did not deny it, continuing to shout, Sima Lin, I've come to fulfill the appointment, where are you? Impudent. Is granduncle's name something you can call? Someone shouted. Sima Yue smiled, saying, if names are not meant to be called, are they meant to be eaten? If so, why don't you try one for me to see? Huh. When they heard what she said, the people around them all laughed. No matter. Since you're here, come in. Sima Lin's voice came from inside. It's better for you to come out. Do you think I'll be able to come out safely if I enter the Sima family? Sima Yue said. Everyone was in an uproar. This Sima Lin has already been a spirit paragon for 2 years, but he can't even get a junior to come out. This Sima family will be like a sheep entering a tiger's den if you enter. You might not be able to come out. It's better to stay outside. It's safer. Sima Yue, a junior actually dares to speak like this. The Sima family said unhappily. I didn't even make an appointment with you. What are you shouting for? Sima Yue said. You're looking for death. That person had lost face and was about to attack. Stuff. Sima Yu Lin shouted at that person, then looked at Sima Yue, saying, what do you want? I'm here to fulfill the appointment, not to provoke. Sima Yue said, I've brought the thing, I want to see my family. Thing what thing? Aside from a few people, nobody knew what Sima Yue had that would allow her to make a deal with a first-ranked power. Sima Yue took out a golden snake fruit, and its fragrance filled the air. Golden snake fruit. A voice called out, telling everyone where this fruit came from. Chapter 226. It's the Alchemist Guild's vice president. Everyone recognized the person who spoke just now and said in surprise, why is he here? A few days ago, 2 young 4th-grade alchemists appeared. Presumably, the Alchemist Guild would also be interested. Someone guessed. Sima Yue turned around and saw a skinny and capable old man standing out from the crowd, staring straight at the golden snake fruit in her hand. President Ma. When the members of the Sima family saw Ma Li, they all bowed respectfully. Molly ignored them and went to Sima Yue and said, "Can I take a look at this golden snake fruit?" Sima Yue shook her head and said, "Grandpa, not now. I want to use this to make a deal with the Sima family." "What deal?" Molly asked. 3 years ago, I made an agreement with Sima Lin. He would protect my grandfather and the others for 3 years, and I would find the golden snake fruit for them. Now, I have already brought the golden snake fruit as promised. I am waiting for them to let me see my grandfather and brother. Sima Yue said, "Grandpa, if you want to see it, wait until I see if my grandpa and the others are safe." "Your grandfather is Sima Lai?" Molly asked. Sima Yue nodded. "Then why don't you go in?" Sima Yue looked at the Sima family's door and said, "I'm just a little spirit master. If I go in, I'm afraid I'll die before I see my grandfather." "How dare you?" Someone from the Sima family roared. "Our family has always been open and above board. How dare you slander us?" "It's not that I'm slandering you, but you don't have enough trust in me." Sima Yue said, "Are you going to let me see my grandfather and the others or not? If you don't, I will destroy this golden snake fruit." As she spoke, she pinched the golden snake fruit tightly. As long as she used her strength, the golden snake fruit would be destroyed. "You!" Sima Yuyang and Sima Yuqing cried out at the same time, their hearts in their throats. Hey, young man, don't be so impulsive." Molly waved his hand and almost came up to pry her hand away. "Do you know how precious this thing is? Perhaps this is the only one in the entire world. Don't be rash, don't be rash." Sima Yu looked at Sima Yulin, saying, "Don't you have the highest position now? I want to see my grandfather and the others." "They can't come out now," Sima Yulin said. "Without the clan leader's orders, they can't leave the courtyard." "Then let Sima Lin say it." Sima Yue said, "He promised me that he would protect my grandfather and the rest." "Come in. I'll guarantee your life." Sima Qing's voice rang out. Sima Yue was still hesitating. "Since we've encountered such a situation, why don't I accompany you in? I can guarantee your safety." Molly squinted his eyes and said, "But you have to promise me that you'll let me take a look at this fruit." "SSS, with the protection of the vice president of the Alchemist Guild, there will definitely be no danger." "That's right, even if the Sima family is a first-class force, they still have to listen to Molly. Otherwise, all the alchemists in the world will cut off all contact with them. I wonder if she will go in." "I think so." Sima Yue was actually not worried about her own safety. Chongming's injuries had already healed. Unless the Sima family had a few godly figures, nobody would be able to stop her if she wanted to leave. Wei Ziqi and the others had been quietly standing by her side, waiting for her to make a decision. "Let's go in." Sima Yue sighed. "When the time comes, I'll have to ask Grandpa to help me." Okay, as long as you let me see the golden snake fruit." Molly rubbed his hands and said, "Please." Sima Yulin gestured for her to enter. Sima Yue lifted her feet and walked in. She knew that they would not deal with this at the entrance. After all, this might involve things that they did not know. She was only doing this to create momentum outside. Chongming followed beside Sima Yue. When he passed by the Hua siblings, he glanced at them lightly, causing them to feel as if they had fallen into an ice cellar. "What a strong feeling," Hua Zijiao said blankly after they entered. Hua Ziyen felt a chill run down his spine. That gaze felt as if it could pierce through them. "That person, who is it?" Sima Yue followed Sima Yulin to the main hall. Sima Lin, Sima Qing and the others were waiting inside. She glanced around. Those who were able to sit here were not weak. It seemed that they were not young either. "Granduncles, Sima Yue is here." Sima Yulin bowed respectfully to the people in the house. "You are Sima Yue? Are you the one who shouted for my big brother to come out?" An old man glanced at Sima Yue. The pressure of a spirit saint pressed down on her. Sima Yue stood where she was and did not move at all. She said lightly, "Your pressure is useless against me. You should save it." After that, she looked at Sima Lin, saying, "I've brought the thing. I want to see my grandpa and the others to confirm whether they are still alive." Sima Lin looked at the current Sima Yue, and his heart was filled with shock. He never thought that the little spirit master from back then would have grown to this extent. Even Sima Yulin, who was hailed as the #1 genius, had not improved so much. "Bring them here," Sima Lin said. "Yes, clan leader." While they were waiting, Sima Lin looked at Molly, who was pacing around Sima Yue, saying, "Molly, why did you run here instead of guarding your pill furnace in the Alchemy Guild?" "I'm here to watch a good show," Molly said without thinking. After that, he quickly denied it, saying, "I heard that those perverts had come out, so I came to see what kind of people they were. I didn't think that I would run into something like this." I promised to protect him, and he promised to show me the golden snake fruit. Since this is the case, sit down and wait, Sima Lin said. "No need." Molly waved his hands decisively. He wanted to stand beside Sima Yue, as if he would be able to smell the golden snake fruit this way. These must be the few little geniuses that have been spreading like wildfire recently, right? An elder from the Sima family said. Wei Ziqi and the others had yet to speak when Molly jumped up, saying, "What do you want to do? They are the ones that we chose first. Don't snatch them from us." "Molly, what do they have to do with you? Have they entered your alchemy guild? Why are you making such a big fuss?" That elder had a fiery temper as well, and started to argue with Molly. "I'm not going to argue with you today." Molly's thoughts were all on the golden snake fruit, and he did not even bother with his old rival. The courtyard that Sima Lai and the others lived in was very far from the main courtyard. Just as Sima Yue was about to lose her patience, she finally heard some movement. "Quickly go in." The voice of the guard was heard, and she could not wait to turn around. However, when she saw Sima Lai and the others, her excitement immediately turned into anger, and her entire body emitted a terrifying aura. Chapter 227. Grandpa, Big Brother, how did you become like this? Who beat you up like this? Sima Yue ran over and looked at them angrily and sadly. Sima Lai and the other 5 all had extremely serious injuries on their bodies. Because their spirit chi had been sealed, they couldn't even heal themselves. Sima Yue couldn't even walk and needed 2 guards to support him. When Sima Lai and the others saw Sima Yue, they were extremely emotional and their eyes were wet. "Yue, you're here," Sima Lai said as he caressed Sima Yue's face. "Grandfather, I'm here." Sima Yue held Sima Lai's hand and said, "I'm here to save you." After saying that, she turned around to look at Sima Lin and said, "This is what you meant by protecting my grandfather and the others? If I came 2 days later, I'm afraid I would only see a few cold corpses." Sima Lin never thought that Sima Lai and the others would be like this. He turned his gaze to Sima Yulin and asked, "Who did it?" "Yu Yi and Yu Zhe go to the abandoned courtyard from time to time," Sima Yulin replied. "Grandpa, eat these pills first." Sima Yue took out a few pills for them to eat. Level 5 Vitality Recovery Pill. Molly, who was standing at the side, knew what kind of pill it was the moment he smelled it. His eyes lit up as he looked at Sima Yue. Those 2 alchemists were said to be 4th-grade alchemists. Could it be that she was a 5th-grade alchemist? Thinking about how the Xianyuan Pavilion had given her a blue card, this was not impossible. Sima Yue gave the pills to Sima Lin and the rest. Seeing that they were unable to circulate their spirit chi to heal their injuries, she grabbed their hands to check and raised her head in shock. "No spiritual energy? Where is your spiritual energy?" "It's just that their spiritual energy has been sealed, they haven't been crippled," Sima Qing explained as he felt that Sima Yue was about to flip out. "Grandfather?" Sima Yue looked at Sima Lai in disbelief. "Don't worry, it's just a seal," Sima Lai said. "Sima Yue, we have already agreed to protect the lives of your grandfather and the others for 3 years. Shouldn't you fulfill your promise and give us the golden snake fruit?" The old man who had previously exerted pressure on Sima Yue said. "Release the seal," Sima Yue said. Sima Lin shook his head and said, "This won't do." "But I've already brought the things over." Sima Yue looked at Sima Lin. "We still haven't investigated the truth of what happened that year. Right now, we still can't confirm whether or not they are traitors to the clan." Sima Lin said. "You haven't been able to find out after so many years. How are you going to find out now? Sima Yue said, are you saying that if you can't find out the truth in a year, you won't return my grandfather's freedom for a year? If you can't find out the truth in 100 years, you won't return their freedom for 100 years. What happened that year has already happened 100 years ago. How could it be that easy to find out the truth? Sima Lin did not bother about Sima Yue's attitude and said, back then, third grandfather had the raging inferno slash. Lai's father was not qualified to cultivate it. However, the spirit technique ended up in his hands. He said that it was given to him by third grandfather. However, when we went over, we only saw third grandfather's corpse. There are no witnesses? Sima Yue asked. There is one. Sima Lin said, one of our little uncles was also injured at that time. We paid a huge price to save him. However, his soul was injured. When he woke up, he was always in a daze. He was completely unable to speak of what happened that year. Your golden snake fruit was used to treat him? Sima Yue thought back to her own guess. Indeed, someone's soul was injured. That's right. With the golden snake fruit, if little uncle can wake up, we can find out the truth of what happened that year. Sima Lin said. Then you should quickly treat him and prove my grandfather's innocence. Sima Yue said. If there was a direct witness from that year, then this matter would be much easier to handle. Her soul was injured. To someone like her who possessed the spirit pagoda, it was not incurable. We will need a few days. Sima Lin said, we are still lacking an item. It will be available at the auction in a few days. What item? Earth Dragon Marrow. She knew about the Earth Dragon Marrow. It was the essence of the Earth Dragon Stone that was formed between heaven and earth. It would take a few hundred years to form a single drop. This item was indeed useful for the soul. However, it could not be compared to the spirit fluid formed by the spirit pagoda. Can you let me see that, senior? Maybe I can treat him. She requested. What kind of status do you have? Do you think my little uncle is someone you can meet just because you want to? Sima knew about what happened that year. Naturally, he would not allow them to treat that old fellow. If not for the fact that that person had been in a daze all these years, they would have killed him long ago. Little brat, are you a doctor or an alchemist? Molly asked. Well, that vitality recovery pill was refined by you. Molly's eyes lit up. Sima Yue replied. Damn, I was just guessing. It was really refined by you? Such a young 5th-tier alchemist. TSK, are you interested in joining our alchemist guild? Let's talk about it in the future. Sima Yue said. Alright. Let's talk about it after you have settled the matters here. Molly nodded. Such a young 5th-tier alchemist. Evildoer. Everyone's gaze towards Sima Yue changed. They did not expect her to be a 5th-tier alchemist. Yes, I heard that you have the blue card of the Xianyuan Pavilion. So that's how it is. Sima Lin said, however, we have looked for many doctors. They all said that the Earth Dragon Marrow is not enough. Sima Yue did not want to say that she had the spirit fluid on her. She decided to take a step back and said, we can wait a few days. However, you have to release my grandfather and the rest. At the very least, you have to release their seals. You also have to punish the person who harmed them. This, impudent. You still want to ask for so much from us. It's already not bad that we have left them alive. Don't ask for so much. Sima Yi, the elder who had used his aura to suppress her, shouted. So you're saying that you're not willing? Sima Yue said. Sima Yue and the rest are direct descendants of the 4 branches. Sima Qing said. I don't care whether they are direct descendants or not. Since they harmed my grandfather and the rest, they have to pay the price. Sima Yue stood beside Sima Lai and the rest. Seeing the new and old wounds on their bodies, it was obvious that they had been beaten up badly in the past 3 years. 5th bro, that Sima Yue said that he would kill us today. Sima Yue had eaten a pill and had recovered a little. He could stand on his own. Sima Yue looked at Sima Lin saying, I'll ask you again. Will you punish the person who harmed my grandfather and the rest? That's impossible. Sima shouted. Then don't blame me. 1,000 resonance, kill him. Sima Yue said coldly. A white shadow flashed in front of everyone's eyes. Following that, a scream was heard from outside, followed by a commotion. Yuzhe has been killed. The people outside shouted. You killed my grandson. I'll kill you. Sima Kun never thought that Sima Yue would kill him just like that. He slammed the table and released a Spirit Saint attack. Cat Pounce. Chapter 228. After not seeing him for 3 years, Sima Kun had actually advanced to Spirit Emperor. Be careful. The Sima family members were far away from Sima Yue and could not stop him in time. Ma Li's strength was not as strong as Sima Yi's and could not take this move. Fifth bro. Sima Yu Ming and the others saw this attack and were so scared that their hearts were about to jump out. Sima Lai was standing beside Sima Yue and his first reaction when he saw the attack was to pull Sima Yue into his embrace and turn around to face the attack. A white light flashed in from the outside and arrived in front of them. With a slap of its claws, it easily resolved the crisis. Divine Beast of the 5th level. Everyone saw Thousand Resonance's level and cried out in surprise. Sima Kun looked at Thousand Resonance. He had just broken through to Spirit Emperor. Compared to Thousand Resonance, the difference was too great. No wonder he's so fearless. It turns out that he has something to rely on. Sima Yi looked at Sima Lai and Sima Yue fiercely, but even so, it won't be able to save your life today. Don't even think about taking a step out of the Sima family after killing them. Sima Yue came out from Sima Lai's embrace and shielded him behind her. She was not afraid of Sima Yi. I just said that I wanted you to punish them, but you were the ones who were unwilling. Since that's the case, I can only do it myself. What right do you have to decide their life and death? Someone rebuked. Sima Yue snorted coldly. My grandpa and the others have more injuries than today, right? Since they dared to harm my family, they should be prepared to die. Second brother, don't talk to her anymore. She killed Yuzhe. You have to take revenge for him. Sima Kun's eyes were bloodshot as he glared at Sima Yue. Don't worry, how can anyone casually kill the people of our 4 bloodlines? Sima Yi said, you're just a spirit beast, we have more than one spirit paragon here. In order to support his words, the person who had just accused Sima Yue also released the pressure of a spiritual venerable. Seeing this, Sima Yu and the other brothers were anxious for Sima Yu and wanted her to leave quickly. Yue, let Thousand Resonance take you and them away. That's right. Their spiritual beasts are either spiritual emperors or spiritual venerables. You should leave first. What's the use of having so many spiritual paragons? Sima Yue was not in a hurry and said, I have a friend who can handle it. Shameless boasting. Sima Yi berated. Am I wrong? Sima Yu looked at them and said, originally, I could have come here directly to take them away. I spent so much time just to see what kind of character you have and whether or not you're worthy of my grandfather and the others acknowledging your ancestors. But you guys are really too disappointing. Hearing her say that, even Sima Lin and Sima Qing's faces turned ugly. I'll take my grandfather and the others away now. Let's see who can stop me. Sima Yue shot a look at Fatty Chu and the others. They all came beside Sima Yu Ran and the others, each supporting one of them as they walked out. Men, take them down. Sima Yi ordered. Sima Yue and the others supported Sima Lai and the others into the courtyard. Many spirit overlords and spiritual paragons descended from the sky and surrounded the courtyard. Sima Yi and the others also flew out from the hall. Sima Kun looked at Sima Lai viciously, hating that he could not kill them immediately. Only then did Mali come back to his senses and run out. Seeing this scene, he shouted at Sima Yi, I said that I will ensure that this brat leaves the Sima residence safely. Are you going to shed all pretense of cordiality with me? Sima Yue looked at Mali. She never thought that this old man would really protect her. If he didn't kill my descendants and didn't want to take the traitor away, I would naturally let him leave. But he killed Yuzhe and wants to take these people away. No matter what, I have to take his life today. Sima Yue looked at Sima. Hearing what he said, she laughed coldly. Chongming, I want his life. Her casual words caused everyone's heart to tighten. Hahesh, Sima Yi laughed loudly, saying, "Just based on you, you want to take my life? This is the funniest joke I've ever heard." Sima Yue ignored him and pointed at Sima Ku, saying, "And this person? She wanted to kill him 3 years ago. She never thought that in these 3 years he would not be able to kill her grandfather, so he would get his own grandson to bring people to beat them up every few days. That's all." Chongming asked. Sima Yue turned her head to look at Sima Yuming and the others, saying, "Brothers, who do you want to kill?" Sima Yuran looked at Sima Yue. Her eyes were filled with uncontrollable rage as she smiled and said, "Just these two. As for the rest, we will take revenge ourselves." Sima Yue nodded. She liked to take revenge herself, so she could understand Sima Yuran's feelings. "Chongming, I want to bring grandfather and the others back to heal. Kill them and I'll give you a golden snake fruit." Chongming raised his eyebrows. How did she know that he wanted a golden snake fruit? "You still have a golden snake fruit?" When he heard what she said, Ma Li's eyes shone, saying, "Why don't I help you kill them and you'll give me a golden snake fruit?" The Sima family was speechless at Ma Li's actions. Did he really want to fall out with the Sima family? "Ma Li, the Alchemist Guild is not under your control. You want to be enemies with the Sima family? Have you thought it through?" Sima roared. At this moment, Chongming moved. He stood where he was and stretched out his hand. With a light tap, Sima Ku felt as if he had been imprisoned. "Break," Chongming said softly. His magnetic voice was intoxicating, but the words that came out of his mouth were terrifying. When he finished speaking, Sima Ku did not even have time to scream before he turned into a bloody mist. Not even a trace of him was left. Everyone was so shocked by Chongming's move that they took 2 steps back. He killed a spirit saint with a light tap. This was too terrifying. Even if you advanced from a spirit overlord to a spirit saint, your fate will be the same. Sima Yue said. Sima Yi looked at Chongming and a wave of fear rose from the bottom of his heart, saying, "Who are you?" The aura of a sacred beast was emitted and the people and beasts in the air all fell down. Sacred beast. It's really, other than Sima Yue and the rest, everyone else was suppressed by the sacred beast's aura. They all felt as if they were suffocating. Chongming stretched out his hand and Sima Yi flew into his hand. "No, don't kill me." Sima Yi was scared. Even though he was already a spirit paragon, he was still a match for many sacred beasts. "Have mercy." An old voice came from the back of the mountain. "This aura, it's 7th grandfather." Sima Lai raised his head and looked at the back of the mountain. "Lai, you're back." That voice said. "7th grandfather, you're still alive." Sima Lai was too excited and his body was trembling. "I'm still alive." The old ancestor of the Sima family said, "If not for the sacred beast's aura waking me up, I would still be in closed-door cultivation. Please, Your Highness, please show mercy." Everyone's gaze turned towards Sima Yue. Even Chongming looked at her. Sima Yue said coldly without hesitation. Chapter 229. Everyone was shocked. Even if Sima Lai's grandfather pleaded for leniency, she still wouldn't let Sima Yi off. "Yue," Sima Qing said, wanting to remind her to think carefully. "He allowed his descendants to bully my grandfather and brother to this extent, and even wanted to kill us. Leaving such a person alive will be a great disaster." Sima Yue said, "And what I can't tolerate the most is bullying my family. Whoever dares to bully them should be prepared to die." No, I was wrong. I won't dare to bully you guys in the future." Sima Lin shouted out, his face filled with regret. But Sima Yue could see a ruthless look in his eyes. If he didn't die today, he would definitely find an opportunity to kill them all in the future. "Although you said you were wrong, you didn't hide the killing intent in your heart. Chongming, do it." Sima Yue ordered. Chongming glanced at her and exerted force in his hand, directly taking Sima Yi's life. When the Sima family saw that she had really killed Sima Yi, they were both shocked and furious. The old ancestor of the Sima family sighed and said, "You guys come over. His Excellency and the other young friends should come as well. Chongming, withdraw your pressure." Sima Yue said. Chong Ming withdrew his pressure. Just like when he came, he gave off an unfathomable feeling. However, everyone knew that he was a sacred beast, so no one dared to probe his depths. Without the invisible pressure, everyone was able to straighten their bodies and breathe deeply. Yulin, bring some men to clean up this place. Sima Lin instructed Sima Yulin before turning to Sima Lai. Let's go. Sima Yue saw that Sima Lai was very excited after hearing the old ancestor's voice and knew that he would definitely want to see him. She supported him and asked while walking, "Grandfather, who is the one who spoke?" "That's my second grandpa, my grandfather's brother. He has always been very good to us. I was still young at that time, but I remember how he took care of us." Sima Lai recalled, "At that time, one of us was captured. We tried our best to escape but were ambushed. It was second grandfather who saved us and let us go. In that case, he can be considered our benefactor." Sima Yue said, "Second grandpa has no children and is on good terms with my grandpa. After my grandfather passed away, it was second grandpa who took care of us. If it weren't for him, our branch would have been long gone. We simply wouldn't have been able to wait for my father and uncle to grow up." Sima Lai said with a sigh. "Yue, how did you get out?" "Little Roar helped." Sima Yue replied. Along the way, Sima Lai and the others kept asking her questions. She briefly told them what happened after they left. When they heard that the Nalan family and other forces were trying to divide the Sima family, the grandfather and the grandchildren were furious. Sima Yue comforted them and told them how to resolve the crisis. However, she didn't mention that she had become a beast tamer master. Instead, she said that she had asked Wei Ziqi to help her find the Beast Tamer Master Guild. "It's been hard on you," Sima Lai said as he rubbed Sima Yue's head. Sima Yue shook her head and smiled. "That is our home. To be able to protect it is what I should do. In the past, it was always grandfather and brother who protected me. The only thing I can do is to protect our home." Seeing the smile on Sima Yue's face and hearing the warmth of her home, everyone was confused. Was the person who killed so decisively just now really her? Or was this obedient and gentle person her real? As they spoke, they arrived at the back of the mountain. Thinking about how many people of spirit saint level and above lived in such a large mountain range, it was obvious that they were a first-rate power. Sima Lin didn't say anything along the way. He only listened to Sima Yue talk about how they had spent the past 3 years and sighed in his heart. It was no wonder that she had improved so quickly. So it was because she had been on the brink of death. He brought them to the middle of a mountain peak and a cave appeared in the vines. He took the lead and walked in with his head lowered. The people behind him walked in one after another. After passing through a short tunnel, they arrived at a stone room. An old man sat on a prayer mat on a stone bed. "Greetings to second grandfather." Sima Lai, Sima Lin and the others bowed to that person. Sima Yue and the others bowed as well. Only Chongming remained standing without moving. The old man looked at Sima Lai and his calm eyes flashed with a trace of a smile. His face was filled with wrinkles. He was different from the other peak spirit paragons. He did not choose to stay young forever. "Second grandfather, I'm back." Sima Lai knelt down and bowed to the elder that he had respected so much. Sima Yuming and the others saw this and knelt down as well. Sima Yue stood there without moving. "Your bloodline is now only left with the few of you," the old man said. He raised his hand and a few rays of light entered their bodies. "Grandfather," Sima Yue cried out anxiously. "Don't worry, this is to remove the seal on them," the old ancestor said. Sima Lin also explained, "The seal on our Sima family can only be removed by us. That's why even if you take them away, you can't let them recover their cultivation. You should first refine the great medicine in your bodies," the old ancestor said. After that, he said to Sima Lin, "Tell me what happened." "Sigh, I'm getting old. I've been meditating for so many years." Sima Lin started from 3 years ago when he went to the Dongqin kingdom. Sima Lai and the others got used to the feeling of controlling the spiritual energy. After that, they used their spiritual energy to catalyze the recovery pill. Chongming had not said a word since he came in. At this moment he was also standing there quietly. It wasn't that the old ancestor didn't want to bother with him. It was just that the moment he came in, he acted as if he didn't exist. It wasn't good for him to pull him aside and say anything. Sima Lin explained everything once. After that, the old ancestor said, even if they were wrong, you shouldn't kill them all. After all, they are still a family. I'm only a family member of grandfather and my brothers. I'm not related to those people. If grandfather acknowledges his ancestors, then you all can be considered. Sima Yue said, however, didn't you all want to punish grandfather and the others as traitors? That's why we shouldn't be a family anymore. That year's matter is indeed confusing. If you want to reconstruct what happened then, you need to cure the youngest. The old ancestor said. I said I'll try, but they said no. Sima Yue said, I even suspected that they wanted to harm him secretly so that he wouldn't be able to clear his name for my grandfather and the others for the rest of his life. You're mistaken. The old ancestor said, many years ago, we were searching for the golden snake fruit and earth dragon marrow. We didn't come here to make things difficult for you. Furthermore, most people wouldn't be able to harm little uncle. Sima Lin said. But although little uncle's mind isn't clear, his cultivation is still very high. It's just that he's mentally retarded. If someone wanted to harm him, he would definitely take that person's life. Sima Lin replied. All right then. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Since it's like this, then I'll go take a look at him. Who knows, I might be able to cure him. Chapter 230. Everyone was shocked. Even though Sima Lai and their grandfathers were pleading for mercy, she still wouldn't let Sima Yi off. Yue. Sima Qing called out, wanting to remind her to think it over carefully. He allowed his own descendant to bully my grandfather and brother to this extent, and even wanted to kill us. It will be a disaster if such a person is left alive, Sima Yue said. Moreover, what I can't tolerate the most is bullying my family. Whoever bullies them should be prepared to die. No, I was wrong. I will never dare to bully you again. Sima Lin shouted, his face full of regret. However, Sima Yue could see the ruthlessness in his eyes. If he didn't die today, he would definitely find a chance to kill them all in the future. Although you said you were wrong, you didn't hide the killing intent in your heart. Chongming, do it. Sima Yue ordered. Chongming glanced at her, exerted force in his hand, and took Sima Yi's life. When the Sima family saw that she really killed Sima Yi, they were both shocked and furious. The old ancestor of the Sima family sighed and said, the few of you, come over here. His honor and the few young friends, come over as well. Chongming, retract your aura, Sima Yue said. Chongming retracted his aura, and just like when he came, he gave off an unfathomable feeling. However, everyone knew that he was a transcending divine beast, so no one dared to probe his depths. Without the invisible pressure, everyone could straighten their bodies and take a deep breath. Yulin, take some people and clean up this place, Sima Lin instructed Sima Yulin, and then said to Sima Lai, let's go. Sima Yue saw that Sima Lai was very excited after hearing the old ancestor's voice, and knew that he would definitely want to see him. She supported him, and as they walked she asked, Grandfather, who was the one who spoke? That's my second grandfather, my grandfather's older brother. He has always been very good to us. I was still young back then, but I still remember how he took care of us. Sima Lai recalled, at that time, our branch was caught, and we struggled to escape, but we were ambushed. It was second grandfather who saved us and let us go. In that case, he can be considered our benefactor, Sima Yue said. Second grandfather had no children, and he had a good relationship with my grandfather. After my grandfather passed away, it was always second grandfather who took care of us. If it weren't for him, our branch would have been long gone, and we wouldn't have had the chance to wait for my father and uncle to grow up. Sima Lai seemed to feel something. Yue, how did you get out? With Roar's help, Sima Yue answered. Along the way, Sima Lai and the others kept asking her questions, and she briefly told them what happened after they left. When they heard that the Nalan family and other forces were trying to divide the Sima family, they were furious. Sima Yue comforted them and then told them how to resolve the crisis, but she did not mention that she had become a beast tamer. Instead, she asked Wei Ziki to help her find the beast tamer union. It's been hard on you. Sima Lai touched Sima Yue's head and said. Sima Yue shook her head and said with a smile, "That's our home. It's my duty to protect it. In the past, it was you and Grandpa who protected me. The only thing I could do was to keep our home alive." Seeing the smile on Sima Yue's face and hearing the warmth in her voice when she talked about home, everyone was confused. Was the person who killed so decisively just now really her? Or was this obedient and docile person her? As they spoke, they arrived at the back of the mountain. Thinking about how many people above the Spirit Emperor level lived in such a large mountain range, it was obvious that it was a first-rate force. Along the way, Sima Lin did not speak. He only listened to Sima Yue talk about how they had been living in the past 3 years. He sighed in his heart. No wonder she had improved so quickly. It turned out that she had trained on the edge of death. He led them to the mountainside of a mountain peak, and a cave appeared among the vines. He lowered his head and walked in first. The people behind him walked in one after another. After passing through a short passageway, they arrived at a stone room. An old man was sitting on a cattail hassock on a stone bed. "Greetings, second grandpa." Sima Lai, Sima Lin, and the others bowed to the old man together. Sima Yue and the others also bowed to the old man. Only Chong Ming stood still. The old man looked at Sima Lai, and a hint of a smile flashed across his emotionless eyes. His face was full of wrinkles. He was different from ordinary people at the peak of the spiritual venerable level. He did not choose to stay young forever. "Second grandpa, I'm back." Sima Lai knelt down and bowed to the old man he had respected and loved. Sima Yue and the others also knelt down. Sima Yue stood still. "You are the only ones left in your bloodline," the old man said. He raised his hand, and several rays of light entered into their bodies. "Grandpa!" Sima Yue shouted nervously. "Don't worry. This is to remove the seal for them," the old man said. Sima Lin also explained, "Only we can remove the Sima family seal. So, even if you take them away, you can't let them resume their cultivation. You should first refine the medicine in your bodies," the old man said. Then he said to Sima Lin, "Tell me what happened." "Alas, I'm getting old. I've been meditating for several years." Sima Lin started from his trip to Dongshan country 3 years ago. Sima Lai and the rest had to get used to the feeling of controlling spirit chi again. Then they used their spirit chi to catalyze the vitality recovery pill. Chong Ming had not said a word since he came in. At this moment he stood quietly. It was not that the old man did not want to talk to him. It was just that the moment he came in, he acted as if he did not exist. It was not good for him to talk to him. Sima Lin told the old man everything. When he finished, the old man said, "Even if they are wrong, it is not necessary to kill them all. After all, they are still a family. I'm just a family member of Grandpa and my brothers. I'm not like those people. If Grandpa returns to the family, then you guys are family." Sima Yue said, "But didn't you want to deal with Grandpa and the rest as traitors? So, we are probably not a family anymore." What happened back then was indeed confusing. If we want to restore what happened back then, we need to cure the youngest, the old man said. "I said I would try, but they said no," Sima Yue said. "I even suspect that they want to harm him secretly so that they can't clear my grandpa's name for the rest of their lives." "You misunderstand," the old man said. "We have been looking for the golden snake fruit and the earth dragon marrow for many years. We did not come here to make things difficult for you. Moreover, ordinary people can't hurt little uncle," Sima Lin said. "Why?" "Although little uncle is delirious, his cultivation is very high. It's just that he is stupid. If someone wants to harm him, he will definitely kill them," Sima Lin replied. "All right." Sima Yue curled her lips. "In that case, I will go and see him. Maybe I can cure him." Chapter 231. Since the first day, the light of advancement in this courtyard had been constantly flashing. It could be seen several times a day. The Sima family had never faced such a situation before. Although Sima Lai and his grandchildren were sealed and could not use spirit qi, they did not give up on absorbing it. However, when the spirit qi entered their bodies, it only accumulated and did not increase their cultivation. Now that the seal had been undone, Sima Yuming and the other 3 brothers had all increased by a few ranks and had all entered the ranks of great spirit masters. Even Sima Lai had increased by 1 rank and had become a 3rd-grade spirit saint. After that, they ate the 100 revolutions pill that Sima Yu gave them, cleansing their bodies and increasing their ranks by 2 ranks. Sima Yuming and Sima Yuqi even entered the ranks of spirit kings. Sima Lai, on the other hand, had advanced to become a 4th-level spirit emperor. Sima Yue was completely unaware of what was happening outside. She let Little Roar set up a barrier to separate the inside and outside of the house to prevent any accidents from happening during the treatment. She first gave Sima Jun a few needles, then kept all the spirit healing herbs that Sima Lin had given her. She only took out 2 or 3 kinds of herbs and refined their essences, refining them into pills for Sima Jun to eat. After that, she took out the golden snake fruit and cut off a small piece. After extracting the essence, she let him drink it. Sima Jun lived up to his name as a spirit venerable rank expert. He digested all the medicinal ingredients in 2 days. Normal people wouldn't be able to wake up without 10 days to half a month. On the 3rd day, Sima Yue took out 2 drops of soul fluid and dripped it into Sima Jun's mouth before removing the silver needles from his body. Sima Jun opened his eyes and glanced at Sima Yue. Without saying anything, he closed his eyes and continued to digest the huge amount of energy. Sima Yue noticed that his gaze was different from usual. She knew that he would recover after he woke up, so she got up and left. Yu, are you done? Wei Ziqi and the rest were waiting outside. Seeing her come out, they asked. Sima Yue nodded and said, he should be fine when he wakes up. Where are my grandpa and the others? They've been advancing so fast these past 2 days that they've almost gone crazy. They only stopped this morning and are now consolidating their cultivation. Fatty Chu said. That's good. They waited in the courtyard for a day and talked about the future. Yue, if your grandfather and the others want to return to the family, what about you? I'll follow grandpa and the rest. If they stay, then I'll stay too. If they want to leave, I'll leave too. Sima Yue said, we haven't had a stable environment to cultivate in all these years. If it's possible, you can stay here. A stable environment is more suitable for cultivation. I still want to go with you, Fatty Chu said. For the past few years, he had already treated Sima Yue as his backbone. He felt that he was not mentally prepared to face a situation without her. If you stay, we can buy a house nearby. If you want to leave, we will also leave with you. Wei Ziqi said. Sima Yue nodded and said, let's wait and see. A day passed in the blink of an eye. When the morning glow of the 2nd day shone down, Sima Jun walked out of the house. At this moment, there was no longer any innocence on his face. His eyes were like those of a normal person. It seemed that he had really recovered. Sima Lin and the others, who had been waiting for a long time, stepped forward and bowed when they saw him. Greetings, uncle. Sima Jun's face was solemn. He swept his gaze over everyone present and asked, where's that bastard Sima Chang? Uncle, 5th uncle has already passed away many years ago. Sima Lin said. That? Sima Jun stared at Sima Lin. After confirming that he was not lying to him, he asked again, where are his descendants? Sima Kai and Sima Yi are already dead. Sima Ku is in his own house. I've already sent someone to call him. Sima Lin replied. At this moment, a guard came and said that Sima Ku, Sima Yue, and the others were no longer in the Sima family. Are you sure? Sima Lin asked. Yes, the guard said that he saw them leave and never return. Furthermore, they took their things with them. The guard replied. Do they know that I can't hide those things now that I'm awake? Sima Jun snorted coldly. Uncle, you're saying that the person who hurt you that year, it's that bastard Sima Chang. The Sima family said through gritted teeth, at that time, I went to look for my father, but happened to see him poisoning my father and killing him. He even beat me until I was heavily injured. If it weren't for the fact that someone came in time, I would have been beaten to death. That matter was really done by someone else. It wasn't fourth uncle and the others. Sima Lin said. Who did you say did it? Sima Jun glared at Sima Lin. Sima Lin recounted everything that had happened. After Sima Jun heard it, he closed his eyes in pain, saying, I never thought that Sima Chang and the others would actually play the blame game. This matter has nothing to do with Lai and the others. Raging Inferno / was passed down from my father to his father. No wonder Sima Ku and the others kept saying that they had to immediately deal with Brother Lai and the others. It turns out that they were afraid that the matter would be exposed. Sima Qing said, now that they see that uncle is about to recover, they ran away in fear of punishment. Pass down my orders. Immediately capture Sima Ku and the others. Sima Lin ordered. Then my grandfather and the others aren't traitors? Sima Yu's voice came from behind the crowd. Everyone finally recalled the people who had been wrongly accused for over 100 years. Sima Qing smiled as he looked at Sima Lai, saying, Of course not. In the past, we didn't know the truth. Furthermore, your great-grandfather suddenly became hungry and obtained the Raging Inferno / He even left his jade pendant at the scene. That's why everyone thought so. Lai, in the future, you all should return to the clan. Sima Lin said, in the past, the clan let you all down. Now that there are only a few of you left, the clan will compensate you all in the future. You all can go and settle the remaining matters. I want to go and meet the other elders of the clan. Sima Jun looked towards the back of the mountain. Looks like other than that old ancestor, there were many other elders in the mountain. Cluck, cluck, cluck. A chicken ran out of its cage and was taking a stroll in the courtyard. Seeing so many people, it ran out in fright. Sima Jun saw the courtyard full of animals and furrowed his eyebrows, saying, Find someone to clean up these animals. Lai, you will come with me to meet them. As for the younger generation, they will temporarily stay in my courtyard. Everyone can go and do their own things. After speaking, he brought Sima Lai out. The older generation of the clan also left, leaving only Sima Yu and the others in the courtyard. Eldest brother, second brother, third brother, fourth brother. Sima Yu came beside Sima Yu Ming and the others. Because Sima Jun came out not long after they came out, the few brothers did not have time to properly talk. Yu, it's all thanks to you this time. Sima Yulu patted her head and said happily, It's good that my brothers are fine. Sima Yu was very happy as well. She saw that the injuries on their bodies were completely healed. After this round of cleansing, they had gained quite a bit of strength. Her worries from before were completely swept away. At this time, Chongming came down from above and looked at her. Sima Yu took out a golden snake fruit, saying, Although I shouldn't ask, do you want this because you were injured before? Chapter 232. This golden snake fruit was not something he had snatched from the Puluo mountain range. Rather, it was the fruit that the golden snake fruit tree had grown in his spirit pagoda. Chongming took the golden snake fruit and said, Yes. I'll be back in a few days. With that, he flew into the sky and left the Sima family. Sima Yu looked at Chongming's back and said, That direction is towards the sea, right? Fifth bro, do you know what he went to do? Sima Yulu asked curiously. I don't know either. He's not my contracted beast, so he didn't tell me anything about him. Sima Yue waved her hand. The young masters are finally free today. When we've settled down, why don't we drink till we're drunk? Fatty Chu came up and said, Thank you for taking care of fifth brother these past few years. Sima Yu Ming and the others cupped their hands. When grandfather returns, we will definitely have a few drinks with you. Sima Lai only came back when it was almost noon. He said to the few of them, I have decided to return to the main family. From now on, we will live here. Sima Yue and the rest were not surprised by this decision. It was within their expectations. Although he was dissatisfied with the clan, it was better for them to stay, especially since he had to consider Sima Yu Ming and the others. With such a family, they would be able to go further in the future. Since Sima Yue wanted to stay, Wei Ziqi and the rest decided to settle down here and stay in the inn until they found a house. Sima Yue wanted them to stay with the Sima family for a while, but she gave up on the idea as she was not familiar with the family. When it was late at night, Sima Yuqing and Sima Yuyang came to look for Sima Yuyu. They just happened to bump into them drinking and sat down together without any reservations. When he heard that Wei Ziqi and the others were planning to settle down in Anyang City, Sima Yuyang patted his chest and promised that he would take care of it. He would definitely find a suitable place for them to live in. The next day, he came to look for them, saying that he had found a courtyard. He also brought the news from last night's auction, saying that the Earth Dragon marrow was fought over by many people. The original starting price of 200,000 was raised to over 5 million. It's a good thing that we don't need it anymore. Otherwise, we would definitely have to fork out a huge sum of money. Sima Yuyang sighed. Found a house? Sima Yuyang asked. I found it. It's my friend's house. When he heard that I wanted a house, he transferred it to me. It's not a problem? Wei Ziqi asked. It's not a problem. 1 or 2 houses. If you don't like it, you. Okay. Big brother and the others are busy returning to the family. I have nothing to do, so let's go take a look. They first went to Xinyuan Pavilion to pick up Little Two, and then took him to see the house. The house that Sima Yuyang found was not far from the Sima clan. It was close to the Sima clan's mountain range and was not very big. However, it was not a problem for tens of hundreds of people to stay in it. The courtyard was far from the city center. It was quiet and secluded, suitable for cultivation, was not bad. Wei Ziqi said. I like it. Fatty Chu said. Okay, let's do it here. Bei Gong Tang agreed. Then it's settled. Sima Yuyang said. I'll get some maids to clean it up for you. It's been a long time since anyone lived here. There's dust everywhere. Then we'll have to trouble you. Sima Yu said. We're a family now. There's no need to be so courteous. Sima Yuyang put his elbow on her shoulder. When we met in Linchuan City, I never thought that we would become a family. Once the house was settled, Wei Ziqi and the others' lives were settled as well. They had experienced many things in these 3 years. They did not have to think about going out for experience in the short term. They could cultivate properly. Everyone believed that in the future, everyone's cultivation would definitely rise rapidly. Those who wanted to recruit you will definitely come looking for you. If you have any ideas, you can find a power to rely on. Sima Yuyang said. We have no interest in joining those powers. What do we do if we don't want to? Fatty Chu asked. Why don't I go back and discuss it with my grandfather? We'll announce to the public that you've joined our Sima family. We won't give you anything and you don't have to do anything for us. Sima Yuyang said. This idea is not bad. Fatty Chu said. Thank you, Brother Yuyang. Okay, then you and I will go back first. We'll come back when we're free. After that, Sima Yuyu and Sima Yuyang left. The others stayed behind. Not long after, a few maids came over and said that Sima Yuyang had already sent them over. They would be in charge of taking care of them in the future. Bei Gong Tang and the others did not want them at first. However, considering that Little Two needed to eat every day and the entire house needed someone to clean, they let them stay. Sima Yuyang and the others went to look for Sima Lin when they returned to the Sima family. He told them about Wei Ziqi and the others. Sima Lin readily agreed to Sima Yuyang's request. He got people to spread the news that Wei Ziqi and the others had already joined the Sima family. Once this news was released, those powers that wanted to recruit them were stunned. They were such good seedlings, but they were all taken in by the Sima family just like that. However, when they thought about their relationship with Sima Yuyu, they could only sigh. They sighed that the Sima family had gotten a huge bargain this time. Many thanks, clan leader. Sima Yuyu thanked him. You don't have to thank us. Releasing this kind of news is beneficial to us as well. Sima Lin said. This way, the other powers will not try to recruit them. Thinking about the various powers that were fighting openly and secretly, she understood. You, because of your grandfather's request, you have not been written into the family tree. However, you are still a member of our clan. Sima Lin said. Grandfather has already told me about this. It's fine as long as you treat grandfather and the others well. Sima Yu said. She did not have any opinion on whether or not she was written into the family tree. In any case, it was fine as long as she lived with Sima Lai and the others. We have let them down in the past. The clan will compensate them in the future. Sima Lin said. Many thanks, clan leader. Since they were going to live together in the future, she did not want to pursue what happened in the past. In any case, the people who had beaten Sima Lai and the others had already been killed. Sima Lin could also see Sima Yu's attitude and nodded satisfactorily, saying, Since you are able to cure uncle, your medical skills should be very good. We have something that we need your help with. What is it? Sima Lin glanced at Sima Yu Yang, saying, Yang? Yeah, you can leave first. Sima Yu Yang left obediently. Sima Lin went to a secret compartment and pressed it. A secret tunnel appeared in front of Sima Yu. Chapter 233. News of the turmoil in the Sima family spread. Sima Jun's injuries were healed and he told the truth. Sima Lai's family, who were originally thought to be sinners, were cleansed of their grievances and returned to the Sima family. That day, Sima Yue had made a ruckus outside the Sima family's door and even killed Sima Ku and Sima Yi in the Sima residence. Coupled with her identity, everyone was even more curious about her. They were all guessing how she came here from the Dongchen kingdom. At that moment, she and Sima Lin had walked into the secret passageway. As they walked, they did not know which part of the Sima residence they had arrived at. The two of them walked for half an hour before exiting the secret passage. They arrived at a valley and then entered a cave. We're here. Sima Lin stopped in front. Sima Yue followed behind him and entered the cave. She saw a person lying on the stone bed. His body was glowing as if he was being protected by something. Who is this? She did not know why Sima Lin had brought her here. This is the previous patriarch of the Sima family. Sima Lin said, He is also the eldest brother of our generation. Elderly head? Sima Yue looked at the person in surprise. It seemed like he didn't abdicate normally. 3 years ago, when I went to the Dongchen kingdom, I was not the patriarch. At that time, he was the patriarch. Sima Lin said, At that time, we brought your grandfather and Sima Kai back. On the way back, Sima Kai was unconscious because his magic pet had died. I don't know if it was because of the contract, but he died before we could even leave the Sophia mountain range. I was wondering why I didn't see that guy. Sima Yue said. Sima Lin glanced at him and continued, When we returned home, we found out that the patriarch had gone out. We didn't think much of it, but we never thought that he would be carried back by someone. The family tried everything but failed to cure him. They couldn't even stop his life force from fading away. In the end, they could only use the family's secret method to save his life. You want me to save him? Sima Yue asked. Sima Lin nodded his head and said, The clan's doctors all said that there was no way, but I thought that since you were able to cure little uncle so quickly, you might have a way to save him. I need to check it first. Sima Yue was not very confident. All right. Sima Yue walked over and examined the elderly head carefully. Her expression was solemn. All of this person's meridians were shattered, and all of his bones were broken. Almost half of his body had turned into slag. His internal organs had also suffered heavy injuries, and his vitality had completely disappeared. His injuries were more serious than Bai Yunchun's, but the most important thing was not just the injuries on his body. How was it? Sima Lin asked from the side. Sima Yu sighed, saying, No matter who it was, they would have died. Even you don't have a way? Sima Lin was still a little disappointed in his heart. It's not impossible. Sima Yue said, It's just that the probability of success is not high. Then there's hope? Sima Lin was overjoyed. Sima Yue shook her head and said, His body is completely crippled. It won't be easy for him to recover. But that's not the hardest part. What's that? His spirit is almost extinguished. In order to preserve his life, his spirit has entered a deep sleep. Sima Yue said, If his spirit is unable to awaken, then even if the injuries on his body are healed, it would be useless. How much confidence do you have? Sima Lin naturally knew how serious his injuries were, and knew that the chances of saving his life were not high. If not, he would not have used a secret technique to seal him here. Less than half. Sima Yue replied honestly, and the cost is huge. We will need many rare herbs. No matter what, we need to know who did this to our Sima family. To be able to injure our family head to this extent, it is not something an ordinary person can do. Sima Lin said solemnly, we will get the herbs we need. You just have to try your best to save him. All right. Sima Yue replied. After leaving the cave, Sima Yue and Sima Yue went back the way they came. When they reached home, she wrote down a list of herbs that she needed. The list was filled with names, and there were at least a few hundred to 1,000 of them. Other than those few main herbs, try your best to collect as many as you can. Sima Yue instructed. After 2 days, Sima Lin sent someone to call her over. Other than him, there was a group of elders waiting for her. Sima Yue greeted everyone. Seeing that their expressions were not good, she asked, "What's wrong? Of the few main herbs that you gave, 3 of them are missing." Sima Lin said, "None?" Sima Yue was a little surprised. She had seen them in the medicine book before. If they were not there, how could they appear in the book? We have the rest, but we don't have the moon breath grass, sunset cloud flower, and brown honey. The great elder by the side said. Sima Yue already knew that the group of people that she saw when she went to the Sima family were the elders of the Sima family. Most of them were elders of the same generation as Sima Lin. These 3 are rather rare. Sima Yue said, but it shouldn't be to the extent that they don't have them, right? Have you all gone to the Xian Yuan Pavilion and the Alchemist Guild? We did. Another elder said, but the Alchemist Guild also said that these 3 main herbs have not been seen for a long time. They don't have any in stock. Since they don't have any in stock, then go and look for them. Sima Yue said, the first 2 herbs are born together. With them, there will be brown bees. When the time comes, we'll just have to find the hive. We have the same plan. Sima Lin said, so we plan to go to the ocean soon. I called you here today to draw out the main herbs. Only the people we send will know how to find them. The brown bees are easier to identify. But the other 2 herbs are similar to other herbs and are not easy to identify. If you want to go, bring me along. I can identify them directly when the time comes. Sima Yue said. That place is too dangerous. Your sacred beast friend is not around. It's better for you to stay at home. Sima Lin did not agree. You can just draw out the appearance of the herbs. If you don't need me, I don't want to join in the fun. But if the 2 herbs are wrong, then it won't be a healing medicine, but a fatal poison. Sima Yue said. Since it's like this, then let her go. The great elder said, this time I will personally lead the team. If I bring more people, I should be able to guarantee her safety. Sima Yue saw their serious expressions and asked, isn't that ocean just an ocean? Is it that scary? Everyone present nodded and said, there are more types of living things in the ocean than on land. Furthermore, they are stronger. If you are not careful, you will be eaten by the fishes. That's scary? Sima Yue was curious. Of course. The great elder raised his hand. The danger level is not lower than Sophia Mountain Range. It might even be higher. It is also because of this that some herbs that only grow in the ocean rarely appear on land. Now that you mention it, I really want to go and take a look. Sima Yue touched her chin and said faintly. Chapter 234. The matter of going out to sea was settled just like that. The eldest elder would personally lead the team, leading a spirit paragon, 10 spirit saints, 50 spirit overlords, as well as Sima Yu and Sima Yulan. The time of departure was set to be 3 days later because they had to wait for Sima Yulan to come out of seclusion. Sima Yue understood. This Sima Yulan was able to sense the existence of the golden snake fruit at that time, so she must have some talent in this area. Bringing her along might be of help. No wonder I haven't seen her. She must have gone into seclusion after Beigong and the others saw her, Sima Yue thought to herself. After that, Sima Yu went to the courtyard and told Wei Ziqi and the others that she would be leaving for a period of time. She also told them that if anything happened, they could look for Sima Yuyang. He would help them. 3 days later, Sima Yulan came out of seclusion and the Sima family was ready to go. Sima Yue noticed that there was one more person in the team. Why is he going as well? She muttered softly when she saw Sima Yulin, who had just joined. Who would have thought that Sima Yulin would just happen to walk over? When he heard what she said, he actually stopped and said, "The gathering is about to begin. I'll go with you to gain experience." After saying that, he continued walking forward. He came to the first elder's side and said something to him. This guy is really good at hiding his aura. She felt a little apprehensive when she thought about how he only noticed her when he was so close to her. Sima Yulan walked over, saying, "Big brother Yulin has been training in concealing his aura since he was young. It's already ingrained in his bones." Sima Yue turned around and nodded at Sima Yulan. She didn't look any different from 3 years ago. Even her body didn't grow much. Compared to others, her growth rate was obviously slower. "Thank you for the medicine you gave me 3 years ago," Sima Yue said. "At that time, I merely saw that you were so seriously injured, yet so persevering. I was shocked by you, that's all." Sima Yulan's smile was very clean. 3 years had worn away some of her previous arrogance. "No matter what, I still have to thank you," Sima Yue said. "To tell you the truth, although I was shocked by you at that time, I didn't think that you would succeed. So when I sensed that I was about to break through, I chose to go into closed-door cultivation." Sima Yulan said, "I didn't think that by the time I came out, the clan would have changed so much. But I'm still happy that you're back." 3 years ago, the two of them didn't have much conflict. Now that they were a family, those squabbles could be ignored. "Fifth brother, I heard from Yu Yang that the sea region is quite dangerous. You have to take care of yourself. Don't rush to the front if anything happens. Do you understand?" Sima Yulu and the others came to send her off. They were afraid that she would rush forward, so they reminded her many times. Sima Yue agreed one by one and promised that she would not rush to the front. It was only when eldest elder said to move that she and Sima Yulan boarded a flying beast. Anyang City was in the northeast of central Wu country. It was not far from the coastline. Ordinary flying beasts could reach it in a few days. Anyang City and Anyang City were only one word apart, but the difference in size was like heaven and earth. This Anyang City was not even half as big as Anyang City. The population was also much smaller. Most of the people here made a living by fishing. At the pier of Anyang City, the Sima family's boat had already been prepared. It was 100 meters long and 10 meters high. It was said that it was a medium-sized boat for the Sima family. Once the group of people boarded, the boat slowly left the coast and headed towards the deep sea. This was not Sima Yoyue's first time on a boat. In her past life, she even secretly owned a small boat. She used her remuneration as an assassin to buy it with her other identity. But the feeling of sitting on a boat in her past life was different. "The fish here are really big." Sima Yue leaned on the railing and sighed as she looked at the fish that were close to a meter long. "These are still small." Sima Yulan stood on the deck with her and looked at the fish in the water, saying, "These are all normal fish. The bodies of those sea clans are even bigger. Don't be surprised when you see a small mountain of fish." Sima Yue's eyes shone, saying, "As big as a mountain? How is the meat of such a big fish? Is it delicious?" 3 black lines appeared on the back of Sima Yulan's head. She looked at her rather speechlessly. Such a big sea clan would naturally be very strong. Not many people have eaten their meat before. Sima Yue touched her chin and thought that she would definitely find a chance to try it this time. The Sea Clan spirit beasts use spiritual energy to cleanse their bodies. Needless to say, the meat is good. Sima Yulin walked over and said lightly. Sima Yue and Sima Yulan were surprised that Sima Yulin would come over to chat with them. Didn't he usually not talk about these things with them? Why did he come over now? Is it raining red? Sima Yue looked up. No. That's strange. Sima Yulin glared at Sima Yue. This guy really deserved a beating. He had been standing on the deck when Sima Yue was interested in the fish in the water. He did not plan to join in at first. However, when he saw Sima Yue's shining eyes, he unconsciously walked over and continued her sentence. Those sea clans are very strong. Even we cannot casually provoke them. He warned, even if you are interested in them, it's best not to act blindly without thinking. I'll do my best. Sima Yue nodded. It was her first time in the sea, so she naturally would not act blindly without thinking. After all, this was a place that even spirit paragons were afraid of. It was definitely dangerous. Yu Lin. Every time I hear this name, I think of Yu Ling, Sima Yue muttered softly. However, her voice was not soft enough because the two people beside her heard it. Sima Yulan could not help but cover her mouth and laugh when she saw that Sima Yulin's face was no longer calm. Sima Yue was satisfied when she saw that he was no longer calm. Right, I'm going to identify medicinal ingredients. Yu Lin is using this as an opportunity to gain experience. Yulan, why are you going too? Didn't you say that it's dangerous here? Because Yu Lan has an innate ability to sense spirit treasures. Sima Yulin said. Innate ability to sense spirit treasures? Sima Yue's eyes widened as she looked Sima Yulan up and down with curiosity. It said that our ancestors had the bloodline of spirit beasts. However, no one paid much attention to it because no one has ever seen it before. Sima Yulin replied. Yulan's spirit beast bloodline has awakened? Sima Yue asked. Sima Yulan nodded. Sima Yue wanted to say something but suddenly felt a dangerous aura and turned to look at the sea. Sea clans are approaching. The voice of the great elder came from the highest room. Very quickly, the spirit paragons appeared on the deck. Sima Yue looked at the sea. It looked calm, but under the water, the dangerous aura was approaching. Roar dash, following a sharp cry, tens of fish appeared on the surface. Chapter 235. It's swordfish. So many swordfish. At the very least, they are saint beasts. The one at the front is a divine beast. When the people on the ship saw the school of swordfish, they began to discuss among themselves. However, they did not panic. It was obvious that this was not the first time they had encountered such a situation. Sima Yue was curious as she looked at the school of swordfish. She wondered how powerful the spiritual beasts in the water were. The front of the swordfish is very sharp. Don't let them get close to the boat. Sima Yulin ordered. When the swordfish approached the ship, they began to attack them. Pillars of water flew out from their mouths. The spirit grandmasters hurriedly channeled their spiritual energy to attack back. The pillars of water were scattered in midair and fell back into the sea. Sima Yue also joined the battle. She channeled her spiritual energy to attack the swordfish, especially the spikes that were aimed at them. Almost every attack was accurate. Many swordfish had their bones broken, and blood dyed the surface of the sea red. Those two divine beasts are approaching the ship. Someone shouted. The two spirit emperors snorted and flew into the air, attacking the two divine beasts. The two spirit beasts were only at level 1 or 2. Their battle prowess should be comparable to a level 3 or 4 spirit emperor. However, the two spirit emperors had already reached level 5. That was why they could fight against them. Sima Yu stood on the deck and watched their battle carefully. At first, she didn't know why the sea beasts were so much stronger than the spirit beasts on land. After that, she understood that it was because the sea water gave them some protection and weakened their attacks to a certain extent. She called Little Pring out and instructed, "Go and catch 2 swordfish for me." Oh, it would be best if they were those 2 divine beasts. Yes, master. Little Rock responded, spreading his wings and grabbing at one of the swordfish. For Winged Rock. Seeing Little Rock, quite a few people recognized him. Divine beast. It really is a divine beast. This is young Master Yue's contracted beast. Isn't young Master Yue's contracted beast the mythical fox? She has 2 divine beasts. Even young Master Yulin only has 2 divine beasts. She actually has 2. Chirp chirp, Little Rock flew to the top of the swordfish and swooped down. His speed was extremely fast, and everyone only saw an afterimage flashing past their eyes. that divine beast swordfish was caught by him. Piff! Little Rock's claws were as hard as steel. With a tug, the struggling swordfish was torn into two halves. It threw the swordfish onto the deck, and when it was about to catch another one, it found that it had already sunk to the bottom of the sea with its minions. "Master, I'm sorry. I only caught one," Little Rock said guiltily. Sima Yue waved her hand and said, "It's okay, this one is enough." Sima Yulan walked over and saw that she was beside the swordfish, saying, "You really want to eat it?" "Of course." Sima Yue nodded her head seriously, saying, "Didn't you Lin just say that this sea beast is delicious? Moreover, the meat contains spiritual energy. Eating it can also replenish our strength." "Then what do you plan to do?" Sima Yulan asked. Sima Yue took out pots and pans, saying, "Take some to roast, take some to make fish soup, take some to boil. Boiled fish with pickled vegetables and steamed fish will do." Those who were with her saw how smoothly she spoke, and knew that she was definitely a foodie. Especially when they saw that she had so many things to cook, they were even more certain of their guess. Sima Yulan was also shocked by Sima Yue and the others. She touched this and touched that, asking, "You always have so many things to cook with you?" "Of course." Sima Yue quickly kept the fish, saying, "After you take my grandfather and the others away, we will go to Sophia Mountain Range in 2 to 3 months. We will be living there for 2 years, so we naturally have to prepare everything." "But spirit masters don't need to eat," Sima Yulan said. "I'm used to it. I feel like I'm missing something if I don't eat for a day." Sima Yue shrugged. Sima Yulin looked at those pots and pans and realized that they were not ordinary household items. He asked, "Are these all spirit tools?" "That's right, they were all made by Fatty." Sima Yue said, "At that time, that guy had just started learning how to refine tools and was looking for something to practice with, so I got him to refine these for me. But I have to say, the food made by these spirit tools is much better than the ones made by normal tools." Everyone was speechless when they heard what she said. Using spirit tools to cook was probably something that only she could think of. And the only armament master who was willing to refine pots and pans was probably someone like Fatty, who asked him to like eating. In the spirit pagoda, Little Roar insisted on coming out because he knew that Sima Yue was cooking outside. Yu had not cooked for everyone for a long time. Seeing Little Roar, Sima Yulan thought of the time in Dongqin Kingdom when he roared a few times and killed the 6-toed devil mouse. She was still a little afraid. However, she was not afraid very quickly because she realized that Little Roar was someone who did not know how to behave properly. "Yu, hurry up, I'm starving to death." He lay on Sima Yue's shoulder and stared straight at the swordfish in her hand. Sima Yulan looked at Little Roar in amusement. At his level, he would not feel hungry at all. He actually said that he was starving to death. How funny. Sima Yulin looked at Little Roar and realized that he could not see his original form. He only felt that he was very strong, but also did not seem to have any attack power. "Yu, what kind of contracted beast is this?" If he did not understand, he would ask. He had always adhered to this principle. "Little Roar." Sima Yue glanced at Little Roar, who was about to drool, and said, "It's just a lazy worm beast that only knows how to eat and not cook." She did not trust him wholeheartedly, so she naturally would not tell him about Little Roar's original form. Even if Sima Yulan had seen it before, she did not know what it was. Very quickly, she finished preparing the swordfish. A portion was used to make fish soup, a portion was steamed, a portion was braised, and a portion was roasted. Very quickly, a table full of delicacies was served. She called Sima Yulan and Sima Yue over to eat. She did not care about those guards. She did not have the energy to cook for tens of people. Furthermore, those people had all returned to their own houses after the boat had sailed normally. It tastes so good. She drank a mouthful of fish soup and realized that the taste of this sea beast was really delicious. She could not help but close her eyes and enjoy it. Sima Yulin also took a bite. His movements were very elegant, as if eating was a very noble thing. It was a huge contrast to Sima Yue, who was wolfing down the food. Delicious. Although he did not have any requirements for food, he was still attracted by the delicious food in his mouth. You're so particular when eating. I really want to see what you look like when you go berserk. Sima Yue could not help but complain softly when she saw how noble he looked. Sima Yulan, on the other hand, did not have such good table manners. Together with Sima Yue and Little Roar, they swept the food clean. However, in the end, Sima Yue realized that although Sima Yulin looked like he was eating very elegantly, his speed was not slow at all. In the end, the amount of shark fins he had was not less than theirs. Chapter 236. In the later part of the journey, they met a few more sea beasts. As they went deeper into the ocean, the sea beasts were of higher ranks. When they were about to reach their destination, another elder took action. The one who gained the most was still Sima Yue. Most people would kill the sea beasts at most and watch their bodies sink to the bottom of the sea. She, on the other hand, would get Little Rock to catch many sea beasts for her to eat in the future. Of course, Sima Yulin and the others ate many delicacies as well. We'll reach in half a day. Sima Yulan said to Sima Yue while eating barbecued meat. Sima Yue was happy. They had already traveled for half a month. Every day, they looked at the vast ocean. It was boundless. After a long time, the novelty had faded. Which island are we going to? Forgotten Worry Island. Sima Yulan said, that's the biggest island that we can reach. There are many precious herbs on it, but it's also very dangerous. There are many divine beasts. Are there moon breath grass and sunset cloud flower? Sima Yue asked. This was the most important thing. They didn't want to waste their time. Sima Yulan nodded, saying, the people from the Xianyuan Pavilion said that someone once picked the moon breath grass from Forgotten Worry Island. That's good. Half a day later, they reached their destination and came to Forgotten Worry Island. Sima Yue stood on the island with her mouth agape. She said blankly, this island can be considered a small continent. Eldest Elder stood beside her, saying, this island is not big compared to the entire ocean. There are even bigger islands inside. How big is this ocean? Sima Yue sighed. Nobody knows. Eldest Elder said, no one has ever walked the entire ocean. It's not just because it's dangerous, it's because there's not enough time. Sima Yue was stunned. There wasn't enough time. How big of a sea was this? It's so big. It's easier said than done to find the moon breath grass and sunset cloud flower. A guard sighed. Sima Yue was also thinking about the same thing. Don't worry, we found the person who obtained the moon breath grass. He drew a rough map for us, roughly marking the place where he picked the moon breath grass. The great elder said, furthermore, Yulan has also smelled the box that contained the moon breath grass. If she encounters it, she will definitely be able to find its location. Cough, cough. When Sima Yue heard the great elder's words, she suddenly thought of something that she should not have thought of. She wanted to laugh but was too embarrassed to do so. She could only hold it in. Sima Yulan slapped her and glared at her angrily, looking angry. I didn't say anything, did I? Sima Yue could not help but laugh. You're still laughing. Sima Yulan immediately pounced on Sima Yu and the latter immediately ran away. Sima Yulin watched them play around and suddenly said, there's someone here. Sima Yue and Sima Yulan stopped. Everyone looked at Sima Yulin and asked, there's someone here? Sima Yulin walked towards a large rock. Sima Yue and Sima Yulan went over as well. They saw that behind the rock, there was a pile of firewood and a few pieces of clothing. The bloodstains on it were from 2 to 3 days ago. There really is someone here. I wonder who it is. Sima Yulan said, looks like it's just one person. I wonder who is so daring to live on this island alone. Sima Yulin said, who knows, we might even meet him. Sima Yue said, who knows? Sima Yulan said, when the time comes, I definitely want to see who dares to live here alone. Let's go. The great elder has made arrangements. Sima Yue and the others went back and told the great elder what they saw. The great elder was silent for a moment before saying, maybe there's someone trapped on this island. If we meet him, let's see if he needs to leave with us. It's still early today. Let's walk inside. The great elder said. Leaving behind 10 guards to guard the boat, the rest of the people went to the island. At first, it was very peaceful. Perhaps it was because they were still outside the island and did not meet many amphibious sea beasts. However, everyone did not let down their guard. "Let's set up camp here for tonight," the great elder said. This was a hollow in the mountains and the terrain was rather spacious. It was enough for them to set up camp. The guards set up the tents. Even Sima Yulin and Sima Yulan did it themselves. They did not have the arrogance of the other young masters. Night fell very quickly. A group of people sat in front of the fire and chatted to pass the time. Oadash, a wolf's howl came from afar. Everyone stood up in shock. "There's actually a wolf here?" a guard asked. "It's not a wolf. It's a human's voice." Sima Yue said. "It really is a human's voice." The guard heard it and realized that the wolf's howl was not professional. It sounded more like a human's howl. "Should we go and take a look?" someone said. "Young Master Yulin, take a few people with you to take a look." The great elder said. "Okay." Sima Yulin nodded. He called a few people and left. Sima Yue was in the crowd. She looked at Sima Yulin unhappily, saying, "I'm so weak, why did you call me along?" Sima Yulin turned around and looked at her, saying, "I will protect you." Sima Yue was stunned. This guy actually said that he would protect her? It seemed that apart from her grandfather, a few brothers and Wei Ziqi, no one else had said that they would protect her. Seeing Sima Yue's stunned expression, Sima Yulin merely turned around and smiled. He realized that he could not use force on this guy. The more he wanted to suppress him, the more he would resist. If he wanted to get along well, he could only use this method. However, looking at his reaction, it was really effective. When they came to the mountain, they saw that in another hollow in the mountain, a human figure was being chased by a group of amphibious sea beasts. He was running crazily towards this mountain. Why doesn't he fly up and shake off those spirit beasts? Sima Yue did not understand. This island has a restriction. We can't fly. Sima Yulin replied. Seeing the human figure getting closer, he cried out in shock, "It's him!" Sima Yue looked at the human figure who was already injured and said, "You know him?" Sima Yulin nodded. It was obvious that he did not have a good impression of this person. When the other party saw that there were people on the mountain, he changed his direction and ran towards them. When he saw Sima Yulin clearly, he laughed loudly, "The heavens are helping me! Brother Yulin, save me!" Sima Yue looked at the person who could still laugh in this situation. Her first impression was that this guy was a little careless and unreliable. Although Sima Yulin did not like this person, he still said to the guards beside him, "You guys go and deal with those spirit beasts." The guards rushed down and fought with the spirit beasts. That person happily escaped from the pursuit. "Who is he?" Sima Yue asked again. "Xianyuan Pavilion's young master, Jun Lin." Sima Yulin replied. Chapter 237. The young master of the Xianyuan Pavilion? Why is he here alone? Sima Yue asked as she looked at the person who was running away. This guy runs around all day. Even the people from the Xianyuan Pavilion don't know where he is. He hasn't appeared for a long time. I didn't think that he would actually be here. Sima Yulin said. Jun Lin howled as he ran towards Sima Yulin. He only stopped when he was in front of them and wrapped his arms around his neck, saying, "Brother Yulin, we actually ran into you here. We're really fated. You must have come by boat. Take me with you when you go back. I've already stayed in this godforsaken place for half a year. If I don't go back, I'll become a barbarian." Piffif. Sima Yu looked at the overly enthusiastic Jun Lin, then looked at the unsettled Sima Yulin and laughed. Jun Lin looked at Sima Yue and realized that she was not from the Sima family. He asked, Brother, are you from the Sima family? I've never seen him before." "I just returned to the Sima family," Sima Yue replied. "So that's how it is. No wonder I've never seen you before. Why you with this black fox? Be careful not to be led astray by him." Jun Lin said. Sima Yue now knew why Sima Yulin did not like him. No one would be happy to be called a black-hearted fox. "Little brother, What's your name? What are you guys doing here? Jun Lin walked over to Sima Yue and put his arm around her shoulders as if they were close friends. Sima Yue slapped his hand away and said, "My name is Sima Yue. Aren't you the young master of the Xianyuan Pavilion? Why are you here alone?" The smile on Jun Lin's face fell when he was asked this question. "I made a bet with them and lost. The bet was that I would live here alone for 3 months. In the end, my ship was knocked over by a sea beast, and I didn't have any flying spirit beasts, so I could only wait here to see if there was anyone passing by who would let me hitch a ride. It's been 3 months, and I've finally seen him." "You've been living here alone for half a year?" Sima Yue looked at him in surprise. "Didn't they say it was dangerous here?" "He lived alone for half a year. Just how strong was he?" Sima Yulin seemed to know what she was thinking and said, "It's not that he's strong, it's that he's good at escaping." "First-class escaping skills?" Sima Yue looked at Lord Descendant. Just now, she had seen him run really fast. "I don't know how many powers he has harmed. He was chased down before, but he wasn't caught." Sima Yulin said. "Really?" Sima Yue asked. Jun Lin was not ashamed, but rather proud. He patted his chest and said proudly, "That's right. Back then, they sent a few spirit paragons and a bunch of spirit emperors to chase after me, but I managed to shake them off." "So powerful." "Of course." Jun Lin hugged Sima Yue's shoulder again, saying, "If you follow me in the future, I guarantee that you'll have that kind of speed." Even the young pavilion master of the Xianyuan Pavilion wanted to chase and beat him up. "What exactly did you do to him?" Sima Yu said, "If I follow you, I'm afraid that I'll have to run for my life in 2 days." Sima Yulin saw that Sima Yue was interested in Jun Lin at first, and was worried that she would be tricked by him. Hearing what she said, he finally relaxed. Seeing that the guards had already taken care of the sea beasts, he said, "Let's go back. The Great Elder is still waiting for us." "The Great Elder is here as well? Then we're safe. I also want to follow you." Jun Lin very consciously followed them back. When they returned, the Great Elder was surprised to see Jun Lin. After hearing what happened to him, he said, "Then you can follow us first. When we return, we'll bring you along." "Many thanks to the Great Elder." Jun Lin beamed as he bowed. Sima Yue came beside Sima Yulan and asked, "I feel like Yulin doesn't like this young pavilion master. Do you know why?" Sima Yulan covered her mouth and laughed. She went beside Sima Yue's ear and said, "The first time they met, Jun Lin was drunk and thought that big brother Yulin was a girl and took liberties with him." Sima Yue was drinking fruit wine when she heard what Sima Yue said. She spat out all the wine. "You're saying that Yulin was taken liberties with by Jun Lin?" She stared at Sima Yulan with wide eyes. "That's right." Sima Yulan nodded and beamed. "You don't know, but big brother Yulin's face immediately darkened and he gave Jun Lin a good beating. From then on, he didn't look happy when he saw him." Sima Yue touched her chin. She could imagine the scene at that time. A man who usually looked so noble and elegant was actually taken liberties with as a girl. It was a pity that she didn't see it with her own eyes. "Right, do you know what kind of background the Xianyuan Pavilion has?" Sima Yue said, "I think it's even more powerful than those first-ranked powers." Of course, Sima Yulan didn't hold anything back from Sima Yue and told her everything she knew. "I heard that the Xianyuan Pavilion doesn't have a power from the Yilin continent behind them. That's why even the royal family is afraid of them. For a family like ours, we naturally know a little." "So that's the case." Sima Yue nodded. "Don't you have the Xianyuan Pavilion's blue card? Don't tell me you don't know what kind of organization it is?" Sima Yulan asked. Sima Yue smiled, saying, "At that time, I had just left the Dongchen Kingdom and didn't know much about the powers there. How would I know what kind of organization it was? I just thought it was a chain store. Later on, I heard from others that first-ranked powers only had red cards. That's when I realized that they were different." "How did you get your blue card?" Sima Yulan asked curiously. "I just took some pills for them to auction and sold a pill recipe to them. They just gave it to me," Sima Yue said. "Just like that?" Sima Yulan looked at her in disbelief. She got the Xian Yuan Pavilion's blue card so easily? Those pills of yours shouldn't be simple. Jun Lin heard Sima Yulan's exclamation and came over, saying, most people definitely can't get our card just by selling a pill recipe. It's all right. Sima Yue didn't say what kind of pill it was, but she felt like she couldn't hide it from Jun Lin. He would know once he went back and asked. Rest well tonight. Tomorrow we will go deep into the island to look for the moon breath grass. Eldest elder returned to his tent after speaking. I'm going to rest. Good night. Sima Yue got up and left as well. Sima Yulin arranged for someone to keep watch and returned to his tent as well. Jun Lin touched his chin and his eyes flashed. He bought a pill recipe and got a blue card. I really want to know what he sold it for. However, I'll find out when I go back. This guy isn't simple. Chapter 238. Early the next morning, the group of people packed up. The great elder divided the people into 3 groups and told them to search separately. Before she left, Sima Yue drew the moon breath grass and sunset Sirius flower. She also told them about the characteristics of the brown bees and told them to send someone to report if they found any traces of them. The 3 teams went their separate ways. Sima Yu, Sima Yulan and Sima Yulin naturally followed the eldest elder. Jun Lin joined them as well, and there were 4 or 5 other guards following them. They had not gone far when they heard rustling sounds. There's movement. The great elder stopped and looked ahead. Young master, can you handle it alone? Sima Yulin closed his eyes and sensed for a moment before nodding, saying, yes. As a result, the others stood where they were without moving. Sima Yulin went forward alone, condensing his spirit energy and sending it forward. A white light flashed in the grass that was as tall as a person. Giant green alligators. The guard exclaimed when he saw the spirit beasts. There are so many of them. Sima Yue glanced at the crocodiles. Their levels were not very high. Although there were many of them, they were not too dangerous. Sima Yulin single-handedly dealt with 10 over crocodiles. His silhouette darted through the group of crocodiles, his speed extremely fast. The sword in his hand was incomparably sharp, reaping the lives of the crocodiles. Good luck, young master. The guard cried out excitedly when he saw Sima Yulin's battle prowess. It was Sima Yu's first time seeing Sima Yulin in action. His attacks were quick and accurate. Not a single move missed. It was 100% accurate. With such a strong combat power, it seems that he pays a lot of attention to actual combat and is not as spoiled as the other young masters and young ladies. Very quickly, Sima Yulin finished off all the crocodiles without suffering a single injury. Not bad. The great elder nodded approvingly. With your current strength, it won't be a problem for you to meet the younger generation of the other families. Yulin walked over and put away the sword in his hand, saying, I don't think so. I'm getting stronger and they're improving as well. Especially Nalanjia. He always gives me a mysterious feeling. Nalanjia has indeed obtained a lot of opportunities, and the people outside have not known about his current strength for a long time. What is his current level? The various clans are all curious. The great elder said, I feel that in this gathering he will be my greatest enemy. Yulin said with certainty, that's why I have to continue moving forward so that I won't be left behind by him. What event? Sima Yue asked. Jun Lin looked at Sima Yue and said, you don't know about the gathering? Sima Yue shook her head and said, I've just arrived here, and I've never heard of any grand event. What kind of event is that? It's a competition between the various major forces. The position of the force will be determined based on the results of the competition. Yulan explained, if a first-rate force is defeated, then it may become a second-rate force. Moreover, the lower-tier forces can challenge the higher-tier forces. If they win, they can also raise their status. I understand. It's called a gathering, but it's actually a ranking competition between the major forces. Sima Yue said that Nalanjie does seem to have a bit of strength. That's for sure. A year ago, it was rumored that he was already a 4th-rank spirit elder. Now that a year has passed, his strength must have grown even faster. Jun Lin said, if we wait another 2 years, he might even reach the Spirit Emperor rank. Big brother Yulin is very powerful too. Sima Yulan said, I believe that big brother Yulin will definitely defeat that Nailan Jia. That beautiful brother of yours is indeed powerful. Jun Lin said, just now, he didn't show his rank, and it looked like he didn't use all his strength. I actually couldn't tell his rank, how strange. Sima Yue looked at him strangely, but didn't say anything. They kept the alligator's corpse and continued to walk deeper. The 3 teams searched for an entire day, but they didn't find the moon breath grass and sunset cloud flower. However, they weren't discouraged. How could these things be found so easily? At night, Sima Yue cultivated her soul art alone at the top of the mountain, while the rest of the team rested at the bottom of the mountain. Suddenly, she opened her eyes, saying, Big brother Yulin, why are you hiding behind the tree? Sima Yulin came out from behind the tree, saying, I saw you come out alone, so I was afraid that you might be in danger. Senior elder and the others are just below. There won't be any danger. Sima Yue turned around and said. Sima Yulin walked over and looked at the moon in the sky, saying, Your senses are very strong. You actually knew where I was. Sima Yue said, You're very good at hiding your aura. If you didn't meet me, most people wouldn't be able to find you. Are you praising me or praising yourself? Sima Yulin sat beside her and said with a smile. Sima Yue looked at him from the side and said, This guy is really good looking. No wonder Jun Lin took him for a girl and teased him. Admiring the moon with a handsome guy, it would be a pity if there was no wine. She took out 2 jugs of wine and handed one to Sima Yulin. The 2 of them clinked their jugs and drank a mouthful. Do you know, I've always been curious about you. Sima Yulin held the jug of wine and looked at Sima Yue. Curious about me? Sima Yue was puzzled. I've known about you since 3 years ago. Sima Yulin said, When Yulan came back, she told me about what happened that day. She said that she was shocked by you. Your strong desire to protect your family made her unable to calm down for a long time. I heard her say that you came with your grandfather and the others that day and fought with my grandfather. At that time, I felt that if it was your family, they would definitely be very happy. Sima Yue did not reply and only listened to him quietly. Actually, the golden snake fruit was in your hands at that time, right? Sima Yulin looked like he was asking her, but his tone was very certain. Why do you think so? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. At that time, you said that you would find the golden snake fruit earlier within 3 years. Unless it was with you, how could you be so confident that you would find it? Sima Yulin explained. Sima Yue smiled and did not deny it. At the same time, she was shocked at his intelligence. You want to protect your grandfather and the others, but I also want to protect the Sima family. After a long while, Sima Yulin continued, If we fail this time, it won't be as simple as falling from a first-rate power to a second-rate power. We may be killed by the other powers. I don't know about the things between you big powers. Sima Yue said, I'm not interested in these things. Even if you tell me, I won't understand the twists and turns. Sima Yulin laughed, saying, I can tell that you're not interested in these things. Then why are you telling me this? Sima Yue did not understand. Sima Yulin looked at her and said seriously, I want to ask you to help me. Chapter 239. When she heard what Sima Yulin said, Sima Yue was stunned. She smiled and said, You're so powerful, and you have the Sima family as your backing. How could I help you? Sima Yulin shook his head, saying, My intuition tells me that you can help me. Are you sure? Sima Yue asked. My intuition has always been accurate. It has saved me many times. Sima Yulin said. How do you want me to help you? Sima Yue asked. I know that you're good at controlling your aura, and you're even better than me. I want you to teach me. Sima Yulin directly expressed his thoughts. Just this? Sima Yue looked at Sima Yulin. He had come to look for her just for this? She had thought that he had penetrated her other secrets. This is it. Sima Yulin said, If my chi concealment technique can be improved, my battle prowess will increase by a notch. Are you willing to guide me? I can't say that I'm giving you pointers, but I can tell you about my method. Sima Yue said. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. I don't know if it will work. That night, the two of them stayed at the top of the mountain, discussing the method of restraining chi under the moonlight. As the two of them conversed, Sima Yu realized that her main method was to restrain her aura, which was to merge her body with her surroundings. Sima Yulin's main method was to restrain his aura, which was to restrain his aura into his body. The two of them were completely different. Even if this was the case, Sima Yulin still managed to find a suitable method for himself from Sima Yu's method, and perfected his own method of concealing aura. As the sun rose from the east, Sima Yue quietly watched the sun rise from the mountaintop. She felt the warmth on her body and experienced the feeling of the earth recovering. Gradually, she became one with nature. Sima Yulin was immersed in his own cultivation when he suddenly realized that he could no longer sense Sima Yu's aura. He was so shocked that he turned his head around. Seeing that she was standing right beside him, he heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, he was also shocked and thought to himself, she's clearly right beside me, but I can't sense her presence at all. Her chi concealment technique is indeed more powerful than mine. He felt that Yue had become one with the heaven and earth. He spread out his aura endlessly, as if he was sensing something. Therefore, he did not disturb her. Instead, he began to think of his own method. She blends her aura into the environment, so I'll retract my aura into my body and turn myself into dust in the air. He closed his eyes, and slowly his aura disappeared, as if he had become a speck of dust in the air. At this moment, his aura was clearly weaker than before. If he appeared in front of others like this, they would definitely be able to kill him. The Sima family did not disturb them. Instead, they searched for the moon breath grass with the mountain as the center. When it was close to noon, Sima Yue finally woke up from her meditation. She was just about to speak to Sima Yulin when she realized that he was not by her side. Boom! Not far away, Sima Yulin was currently battling with a python. This python had already reached the rank of a divine beast, and its battle prowess was equivalent to a beginner's spirit saint. She saw that the bushes near where she had been sitting had all been flattened. It was likely that the python had approached them before, and Sima Yulin did not want it to interrupt her meditation, so he led the python away. Sima Yulin was not the python's opponent, but he did not call out his own spirit beasts. Instead, he continued to challenge his own limits. Sima Yue stood at the top of the mountain, but did not go up to help. She knew that he did not need her help. After a bitter battle, Sima Yulin finally killed the python. However, he had also suffered heavy injuries. He could not even stand, and had to stab his sword into the ground to support his body. Sima Yue walked over and took out an antidote pill, handing it to him. Your medicine is useless against the python's poison. Sima Yulin took the pill and ate it. After that, he sat down and began to meditate. Sima Yue walked over and dealt with the python. After cleaning it up, she took out a pot to cook snake soup. Sima Yulin waited for the poison in his body to be completely cleansed before opening his eyes to see Sima Yue stirring the soup in the pot with a spoon to prevent it from sticking. You really can eat anything. He walked over and saw that Sima Yue had already set up a table and chairs. These spirit beasts are all good stuff, Sima Yue said. Then she glanced at Sima Yulin, saying, You're pretty strong. You defeated a first-ranked spirit beast on your own. However, you also wasted a lot of energy and complicated the battle. In the end, you got yourself poisoned and injured. Sima Yulin's body trembled as he looked at her, asking, How did I complicate it? Sima Yue did not hold back and said as she cooked the soup, You and the python were in a battle of life and death. It was not a friendly competition, so there was nothing to worry about. That's why your best method was not to kill it with your own strength, but to find the best way to kill it. I also attacked where it was fatal, Sima Yulin said. Sima Yue shook her head, saying, Although you also attacked its 7 inches, it was obvious that its 7 inches had become bigger, so that place also became bigger. You went in the right direction, but you didn't find the right spot. Spot? Sima Yulin looked at Sima Yue thoughtfully and suddenly understood, saying, "What you mean is that I have to find the right spot, and not find the right direction to attack, right?" Sima Yue did not refute and continued, "Also, when you're not strong enough, it's not wise to stand in front of it. When you were fighting with the python, if you could run behind it in advance, you wouldn't have been poisoned by its poison. When you're not strong enough, the best way is to attack from behind. Sneak attacks are better." When Sima Yulin heard Sima Yue's analysis, he immediately understood where his weakness was in the battle just now. A powerful battle was not only about strength, but also the method. Sima Yue did not say anything else. She knew that Sima Yulin was a smart person and would understand what she meant. She finished cooking the soup and scooped out 2 bowls. The rest was shared by Little Roar. She placed the snake soup in front of him while he was still thinking. They had not finished the snake soup when a signal flare exploded in the sky. "There's danger over there." Sima Yulin recognized it as a signal for help and stood up immediately. Sima Yue kept the things away and called Little Rock out, saying, "Bring us over." This island had a restriction and could not be controlled to fly. However, flying beasts could fly with their wings. Little Rock raised his head to the sky and cried out, bringing the 2 of them to fly in the direction of the signal flare. On the way, they saw the eldest elder and the others. Sima Yue got Little Rock to pick them up and they continued to fly. From afar, they heard the roars of spirit beasts. There were many of them. It was obvious that the Sima family had encountered more than 1 or 2 types of spirit beasts. Chapter 240. Sima Yue and the rest sat on Little Rock's back and anxiously rushed in that direction. Water lizards, green crocodiles, black hippopotamus. Why are there so many amphibious sea beasts? There are also land spirit beasts. They are injured. Little Rock, hurry up. Sima Yue patted Little Rock's back and said, "The 10th elder is also inside. He's protecting those guards." Sima Yulin said, "Call out your contracted beasts, we'll go save them together." Little Rock came to the ground and placed those people on the ground. He was the first to enter the battle. Everyone called out their contract beasts and ran over to rescue those people from the outside. Sima Yue called out Yaguang and Thousand Resonance. Including Little Rock, she had 3 divine beasts. It could be said that this was the biggest lineup, causing the Sima family members to be shocked. More than 100 spirit beasts were attacking the Sima family, and nearly half of them were divine beasts. Fortunately, there were not many divine beasts of the spirit venerable level. Otherwise, they would all die here. Little Rock had a unique advantage in the air. So even though his strength was not the strongest, the sea beasts below were the most wary of him. Thousand Resonance's 7 tails had all manifested. Each tail could send a spirit beast flying with a swing of its tail. With him taking the lead, the people they were rescuing quickly opened up a path for the people trapped in the middle. 7-tailed spiritual fox. The Sima family cheered when they saw that it was the 7-tailed spiritual fox that had opened a path for them. "Whose spirit beast is this?" someone asked. "Who cares whose spirit beast it is? It's more important for us to break out of the encirclement as soon as possible." The person beside him said, "Let's retreat." With the help of Thousand Resonance's power, other than those who were already dead, everyone else broke through the encirclement. Then, Sima Yue got everyone onto Little Rock's back and brought them away. The spirit beasts below could only watch helplessly as they left. They cried out unwillingly, but they could not chase after them. They could only tear apart the few corpses that they had obtained. On Little Rock's back, the Sima family members' eyes turned red when they saw that their former companions' corpses were all gone. Little Rock brought them to a safe place before landing. Only here did everyone truly relax. "How did you encounter so many spirit beasts?" the great elder asked. "We don't know either. When we first went there weren't that many spirit beasts, but this morning a lot of spirit beasts suddenly came. Moreover, they were all divine beasts." The 10th elder said, "I smelled the scent of the sunset cloud flower just now." Sima Yulin said, "Could it be that the sunset cloud flower attracted those spirit beasts over?" Someone said, No, the sunset cloud flower is not that attractive to those spirit beasts. Sima Yue shook her head. There should be other reasons. Since there's a sunset cloud flower, there should be moon breath grass nearby. Sima Yulin said. Sima Yue nodded and said, there should be brown bees too. At this point, her eyes lit up as she said, I know why those spirit beasts gathered there. You know the reason? Sima Yulan looked at Sima Yu and asked. Yes, if I'm not wrong, we'll be able to get something good. Sima Yue said, 1,000 resonance, Yaguang Little Rock, let's go back to that place. As she spoke, she brought 1,000 resonance and Yaguang and jumped onto Little Rock's back. I'm going too. Sima Yulin jumped on as well. You really want to go back? The great elder looked at the two of them. Sima Yue nodded, saying, that's a good thing. It'll be gone if we're late. You guys wait here for us to come back. Little Rock, let's go. I'm going too. Sima Yulan shouted. Sima Yue turned around and looked at her, saying, it's dangerous. You don't know how to hide your aura. It's not good here. As she spoke, she patted Little Rock and Little Rock immediately spread his wings and flew away. Great Elder, are we really going to let the two of them go? The 10th Elder said. The Great Elder saw their shadows getting further and further away and said, they've already left. What he meant was that they had already left. He had no choice but to let them go. Great Elder, will Big Brother and the others be in danger? Sima Yulan looked worriedly in the direction they had left. It shouldn't be a problem. The Great Elder said, young master knows that it's dangerous, but he went without hesitation. It should be because he has enough confidence in Yu. That young master Yu is much stronger than what he has shown. The 10th Elder added, just his contracted beasts alone have 3 divine beasts. Furthermore, there's a little white ball that we can't see its original form or strength. With this kind of strength, even young Master Yulin can't compare to him. Sima Yulan had seen Little Roar's strength before. When she heard what they said, she relaxed a little. At the very least, her grandfather could sit on Little Rock and escape. At the very least, his life wouldn't be in danger. The clan is declining day by day. Maybe their return will bring a change to the clan. The Great Elder said faintly. Maybe the clan would change because of her alone. Sima Yulin sat beside Sima Yu. When he saw her eyes shining, he couldn't help but ask, what exactly is it that makes you so excited? Sima Yu chuckled, saying, it's a treasure that will make the entire continent tremble. What treasure? I've said it before. There's a sunset cloud flower near the moon breath grass. With the sunset cloud flower, there will be brown bees. Sima Yu said, You've said it before. Sima Yulin nodded. Many people know this. However, there's one thing that others don't know. After the brown queen bee evolves, it will become the scarlet queen bee. It's the supreme queen bee, and all the other queen bees will listen to it. Sima Yu said excitedly. Then why will it attract the attention of the spirit beasts? Sima Yulin didn't understand. Because the scarlet queen bee will give birth to scarlet bees. The scarlet honey that it produces has the effect of increasing the spiritual energy in the body. It also has medicinal properties. The scarlet queen bee is also a great supplement to the spirit beasts. Eating it can increase their strength. Sima Yu said, it's no wonder that it attracts so many spirit beasts. After the brown bee evolves into the scarlet bee, it will be very powerful. It will at least be at the level of a divine beast. In the future, it can even evolve into a sacred beast, or even higher. The average spirit beast will not be able to compare. Then aren't we in danger? Sima Yulin frowned. After it evolves, it will be very weak for a short period of time. We have to form a contract with it at that time. Otherwise, we will have no fate with it. Sima Yu was not worried. Even if we want to form a contract with it, we need a beast tamer master. We didn't bring a beast tamer master with us this time. Sima Yulin was not optimistic. Sima Yu smiled but did not say anything. Sima Yulin was extremely surprised. You're a beast tamer master? He looked at her in shock. No wonder you have 3 divine beasts. If you're not a beast tamer master, how can you be so generous? The more he interacted with her, the more surprised he was. When he was with her, there were many times where he could not remain calm. They came to the valley once again. Those spirit beasts were still waiting at the bottom of the valley. On a big tree in the valley, a beehive emitted a red light. The light became brighter and brighter, as if it was going to pierce through the sky. Chapter 241. Sima Yue saw the white light and said, "We came just in time. She's about to evolve." Sima Yulin observed the terrain and said, "There are so many spirit beasts. It won't be easy to get close. Furthermore, the scarlet bees will be in the hive and there will be many bee guards. Once it evolves into a scarlet queen bee, it must leave the hive and come outside to receive the baptism of the heavens and earth, absorbing all of the evolution liquid into its body. We just have to seize that opportunity." Sima Yue stared straight at the giant beehive. When the red light faded, she jumped down from Little Rock's back and said, "Thousand Resonance, Yaguang, help me block those spirit beasts. It will only take a while." At this time, the spirit beasts also began to rush towards the beehive. Countless bees came out of the hive and attacked the spirit beasts. Although they were not very strong, they were using their lives to protect their king. When a swarm of bees died, another swarm of bees appeared, wave after wave. Sima Yue concealed her aura and used the blood chi in the canyon to conceal herself as she slowly approached the beehive. A wet crimson bee was carried out and placed on the beehive. Many bees stood guard around it. "They're out." Her heart was filled with excitement, but the dense swarm of bees around her gave her a headache. No matter how many bees died, the bees around the queen bee did not move. Bang! A stream of spiritual energy hit the beehive, causing it to shake and fall to the ground. Buzz, 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 the bees were enraged. Some of them stayed behind to protect the queen, while the rest flew towards the culprit. Sima Yu looked at Sima Yulin gratefully. Then, she used her spirit energy to cover her palm and stretched out her hand to grab the queen bee. An ordinary bee was only the size of a finger. The brown bees here were as long as a finger, but this scarlet queen bee was nearly a foot long. The queen bee's body was still wet. She had to use both of her hands to catch it. Buzz, buzz, buzz. When the brown bees saw that their queen bee was caught, they all went berserk and attacked Sima Yue. Pa pa pa. Thousand Resonance rushed over at the crucial moment and stood beside Sima Yue. She waved her 7 tails and scattered all the bees. "Thank you, Thousand Resonance." After Sima Yue finished speaking, she closed her eyes and began taming the scarlet queen bee. Although the scarlet queen bee's body was very weak, it understood the current situation. Its spiritual power was even stronger, and it wanted to reject Sima Yue's taming. However, no matter how much it resisted, it could not resist the power of the taming beast art and Sima Yue's terrifying mental strength. In the end, it was tamed by her. It actually has its own consciousness. Sima Yue could feel the strength of the Scarlet Queen Bee's spiritual power. She muttered to herself, "If I don't contract it now, it might resist the power of the contract when it recovers its strength. Since that's the case, I'll form a contract with you now." Sima Yulin was in the midst of a bitter battle with the brown bee. Wave after wave of attacks overwhelmed him. Suddenly, the light of the contract lit up in the valley, enveloping Sima Yu and the scarlet bee together. After that, it turned into 2 rays of light, entering the space between their eyebrows. Contract success. After that, 2 rays of light shone, and Sima Yue became a 5th-ranked spirit overlord. She actually rose by 2 ranks. The Scarlet Queen Bee also rose from a 4th-ranked divine beast to a 5th-ranked divine beast, giving Sima Yue a shock. It's actually a 4th-ranked divine beast. If I don't form a contract with it now, I'm afraid that no one will be able to control it. Sima Yue smacked her lips twice and swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Sima Yulin looked at the man and beast who had risen in rank. He never thought that she would actually succeed in forming a contract. Where did this guy come from, to actually be able to form a contract with so many divine beasts? At this moment, the Scarlet Queen Bee was still very weak. Sima Yue kept it in the spirit pagoda, then called Little Rock over and jumped on his back. She took Sima Yulin up and used the power of the contract to keep Yaguang and Thousand Resonance in the contract space. She sat on Little Rock and flew away. When the bees saw that their queen had been taken away, they gave up on the other spirit beasts and chased after them. Sima Yue did not return to the camp directly. Instead, she found a mountain and landed. She took out a few ingredients and placed them on top of a rock. Then, she took out the Scarlet Queen Bee and placed it on top of the pile of ingredients. The Scarlet Queen Bee looked weakly at Sima Yue, then began to crazily absorb the ingredients and the aura of heaven and earth. When Sima Yue saw this, she took out a basin. Inside, there was a diluted spirit fluid. She placed the Scarlet Queen Bee inside and began to refine the ingredients. She poured the essence of the ingredients that she had just refined into the basin. When Sima Yue took out those ingredients, Sima Yulin was shocked by her generosity. After that, he saw her place the Scarlet Queen Bee in the spirit fluid and guessed that it must be very precious. When he saw her refining the ingredients so smoothly, he guessed that she must be a high-ranked alchemist. Alchemist, Beast Tamer Master? No wonder she has the Xian Yuan Pavilion's blue card. Sima Yulin muttered. He admitted in his heart that she was more powerful than he had thought. It was a good thing that the clan did not miss out on this kind of talent. Otherwise, they would have regretted it to death. He squatted down and saw the Scarlet Queen Bee fluttering about in the basin. He asked, "What are you doing?" "It's like a newborn baby right now. The more it absorbs now, the better it will develop in the future." Sima Yue explained, "These are all ingredients that are useful to it." Buzz 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 dash. Those bees chased after them and looked at the two of them warily. Sima Yue looked at them and said, "I have already formed a contract with your queen bee. If you want to follow it, you can stay. If you don't want to, you can leave." Sima Yulin was angry when he saw those bees. However, things had already happened and they had no way of changing it. They could only choose to stay by Sima Yue's side. There are so many bees. How are you going to deal with them? Sima Yulin looked at the thousands of bees and asked, "I'll find a good place for them to stay." Sima Yue said, "But we'll have to wait until the Scarlet Queen Bee is better." The Scarlet Queen Bee welcomed the sunlight and absorbed the essence of the water bit by bit. Sima Yue could feel that its strength was growing bit by bit. Especially its mental strength, it was going through an earth-shattering change. As long as the conditions were right, it would be able to grow to a terrifying level. After half an hour, the Scarlet Queen Bee finally finished absorbing all the spirit liquid. With a flap of its wings, it flew out of the basin. Done. Sima Yue kept the basin and said, "Scarlet Queen Bee, you can take your people to settle down first." She kept all the bees into the spirit pagoda. The environment there was enough to attract them. She was not afraid that Sima Yulin would find out about her secret. Right now, she had enough strength to protect her own things in this world. Her trump card was not just what they saw. If anyone had any ideas about her, they would have to be prepared to be killed. Furthermore, she believed that Sima Yulin would not do something like that because he was a smart person. Chapter 242. Sima Yulin was shocked when he saw the horde of bees disappear. However, he did not ask anything. He merely asked, "Are we going back now?" Sima Yue said, "Let's wait and then go back to look for the moon breath grass and sunset cloud flower. I hope they haven't been eaten by those spirit beasts." "Then let's wait a little longer. Those spirit beasts should be returning soon," Sima Yulin said. They waited on the mountain for a while before riding Little Rock to the canyon. The canyon was in a mess. The grass had been trampled into pieces, and many trees had been chopped off. This was all caused by the previous battle. Sima Yue searched the canyon for quite some time, but she only found an incomplete moon breath grass. She also found a sunset cloud flower earlier, but the flower was broken and fell to the ground. It was trampled into mud by the spirit beasts. What a pity! She sighed as she held the half-dead moon breath grass. "Let's expand our search area. Maybe we'll be able to find something," Sima Yulin said. "I know where you can find the herbs you're looking for. The Scarlet Queen Bee suddenly transmitted her voice. You know? Sima Yue asked. My people gather honey everywhere, of course we know where to find it. The Scarlet Queen Bee said, I'll let them bring you there. Sima Yue called out a brown bee. When the bee saw her, it said, I'll bring you there. They liked all the places Sima Yue had found for them, so they fell in love with her. As for Sima Yue, because she had contracted with the Scarlet Queen Bee, she could naturally understand the brown bee's language. Let's go, it will take us to find the moon breath grass and sunset cloud flower. She called Sima Yulin and followed the brown bee out of the canyon. The place that the brown wasp led them to was not far away, but it was rather difficult to find. After turning several exits, they entered another canyon. There's a lot of that hua you want, said the brown bee. Sima Yue saw a patch of moon breath grass and a sunset epiphyllum swaying in the wind at the foot of the cliff far away. She touched the brown bee's body and said, Thank you. There are so many moon breath grass, but they haven't been affected at all. They're even older than the remnant vermilion we saw just now. Sima Yulin said, It's not easy to find here, and there aren't any special treasures, so those spirit beasts usually don't come here. Brown Bee said, Also, you can't fly on this island, so there are even fewer spirit beasts here. We only come here when we're gathering honey. Let me see, we can fly on the other islands. Why can't we fly here? Sima Yue asked. I don't know. King once said that there is a terrifying existence on the island. It seems that it is because of it that we cannot fly. The brown bee flapped its wings and replied, Terrifying existence? Didn't Scarlet Queen Bee say anything? Sima Yu looked at Sima Yulin and told him what the bees meant. It seemed like he didn't know about this either. No, King just told us not to fly around randomly. We just have to obediently gather honey. Brown Bee said, Alright, I got it. You can go back first. Sima Yue kept the bees away, saying, Let's start gathering the herbs. She handed a jade box to Sima Yulin, saying, I'll gather the moon breath grass. You can go over there and pick the sunset cloud flower and put it in the box. Sima Yulin nodded, took the box and walked over to the cliff. Sima Yue squatted down, took out a small shovel and began to dig the moon breath grass. There were so many aged ones here, and it made her happy. There are no seaside herbs in the spirit pagoda. You have to keep these well. Otherwise, you won't be able to use them in the future. Very quickly, Sima Yulin came back with the box and dug the moon breath grass with Sima Yue. After the two of them had successfully swept the area, they sat on Little Rock and rushed back. Suddenly, they felt a terrifying aura coming from below Forgotten Worry Island. At the same time, all the beasts on the island went berserk, and those birds all flew into the sky. Sima Yue and Sima Yulin exchanged glances and got Little Rock to speed up. They quickly returned to the camp. Young master, you're back. The great elder saw that they had returned and heaved a sigh of relief. What happened? Why are those spirit beasts all here? Someone asked. I feel a dangerous aura. We have to leave this place quickly. I have a feeling that danger will happen if we don't leave. Sima Yue said. But the moon breath grass and sunset cloud flower, we've already gathered them. There's no time to lose. Let's all sit on Little Rock's back and leave. Sima Yue said. The great elder looked at Sima Yulin and saw that he nodded as well, saying, Get on the divine beast's back. We'll return to the ship immediately. The guards also felt the terrifying aura and jumped onto Little Rock's back. Little Rock flapped his wings and flew them towards the ship. Many flying spirit beasts also felt the danger and flapped their wings to escape. However, they were not fast enough and were left behind by Little Rock. They flew to the sea and saw the ship that was parked in the bay. Something's not right. Sima Yue said when she saw that the flying spirit beasts in front of her were not moving at all. Master, there's something blocking the way in front. I can't get out. Little Rock said. Sima Yue condensed her spiritual energy and attacked it. Her attack seemed to have met something and disappeared without a trace. Seeing this, everyone turned pale with fright. Let me! The great elder shouted and condensed his spiritual energy to attack it. The result was the same. It was silently destroyed. What's going on? Someone cried out. Sima let Little Rock land on the ground and looked at the faintly discernible obstruction. She called Little Roar out and threw him over, saying, "Go and try." Ao, what are you doing? Little Roar, who had just come out, did not understand the situation and cried out loudly. "We've been trapped by something inside. See if you have any ideas." Sima said. "It hurts." Little Roar flew far away and fell to the ground. He stared at Sima with grievance. However, it immediately sensed the dangerous aura and jumped up. F***CK, what's going on? What a scary aura. Sima saw Little Roar fly out and knew that the thing would not be able to stop him. She urged, "Quickly get us out of here." Little Roar ran over with his 4 limbs and short legs. He could not run fast no matter how hard he tried. After a while, he reached out his claws and made a blue circle near the ground. "The opponent is a little strong. I can only make this big one now." Sima had seen this kind of blue circle before. She lowered her body and went out. The members of the Sima family did not dare to hesitate. One by one, they squatted down and went out of the circle. "Get on the boat." The great elder was the last to come out and ordered. The people on the boat had already noticed that something was wrong and waited for them to get on. When the boat left the shore, the members of the Sima family stood on the deck and felt like they had survived a disaster. "Look, what is that?" A guard pointed at Forgotten Worry Island and shouted. His words were filled with shock. Chapter 243. Everyone looked over and saw that the entire island was beginning to shake. The roars of the spirit beasts shook the sky. Every roar was filled with endless fear and despair. The spirit beasts fled in all directions on the island, but none of them could escape from that small island. An invisible cage trapped all the living creatures inside. All of a sudden, a black beam of light shot out from the center of the island and soared into the sky. It attracted all of the creatures on the island, and even the divine beasts with the strength of a spiritual venerable weren't spared. That light is so evil. That terrifying aura from before must have come from this. What is that? Are all those creatures dead? If we were in there just now, everyone's hearts trembled. They were glad that Sima had brought them out. She saved everyone's lives. What on earth is that? Sima Lan asked blankly. Sima Lin's face was also filled with fear, saying, "No matter what it is, it's not something we can touch." Little Roar looked at the beam of light and felt restless. He jumped out of Sima Yue's embrace and roared at the island. Roar! The beam of light seemed to pause for a moment before continuing to suck in the living beings. Sima could feel Little Roar's restlessness and irritation, so she kept him into her spirit pagoda. Suddenly, she felt a life form approaching the island. She looked up and saw a huge bird. Chongming. Chongming landed on the boat and looked at her. Then, he turned his gaze to the island with a solemn expression. Suddenly, he moved. He flew into the air and launched a fierce attack at the beam of light because the black light seemed to be dissipating. Everyone had an intuition that if they were swept by the black light, they would be swept in even if they were outside. Sima watched as Chongming's attack broke through the barrier and hit the black light beam. The black light seemed to have sensed the danger and changed its direction to attack Chongming's flames. Bang! Everyone felt as if the world was shaking. If they were hit by such an attack, they would probably meet the king of hell directly. So strong, someone said softly after a long time. After the beam of light and Chongming's attack, it slowly weakened. Then, it retreated back into the island and disappeared. It was as if the terrifying scene had never happened. Everyone on the boat felt that the terrifying aura in their hearts had disappeared and they could breathe again. The black light disappeared. I think I saw the god of death waving his hand. Fortunately, he came. Otherwise, we would probably have died here today. Thank you for saving our lives, Your Highness. The great elder and the people on the ship bowed and expressed their gratitude. Halcyon nodded, saying, "Set sail, let's leave this place." The great elder immediately ordered the ship to sail away from the island at the fastest speed possible. Everyone else left the island, and Sima Yu looked at Halcyon, saying, "What are you doing here?" "After I returned, I heard that you came to Forgotten Worry Island." Halcyon said, "I said that I would protect you as long as you were in this continent, so I naturally have to keep my word." What he didn't say was that when he heard that they came to the island, he immediately rushed here. He didn't expect to see that guy come out. "Did you come because you were worried about me?" Sima Yue smiled at Chongming. "Narcissistic." Chongming replied her with 2 words. "How am I narcissistic? Just worry about me. What's there to be embarrassed about?" Sima Yue shamelessly grabbed Chongming's wrist. She wasn't afraid of him at all. The people on the boat were envious when they saw how close she was to the sacred beast. They already had so many sacred beasts. Now that they had such a good relationship with the sacred beast, they were envious. "Chongming, did you come here when you were injured?" Sima Yue asked. The Scarlet Queen Bee said that there was a terrifying existence below. "Do you know what it is?" Sima Yue asked. Chongming shook his head, saying, "I received a request for help from a friend and came here to get his descendant. I fought with the thing below and I couldn't beat it." "Even you couldn't beat it?" Sima Yue gasped. "It should be trapped here. That's why I could barely beat it. If I fought against it, I wouldn't be its opponent." Chongming said. "So scary." Sima Yue patted her chest, looking scared. Only Sima Yue didn't see any fear in her eyes. He believed that even if Chongming didn't come today, nothing would happen to her. "You got the Scarlet Queen Bee?" Chongming asked. "Yeah. My luck isn't bad," Sima Yue said. Chongming nodded. He didn't push her hand away, saying, "The last time I came, I realized that the brown queen bee was evolving. I didn't think that you would get it. This is called fate," Sima Yue said with a smile. Chongming smiled but didn't say anything. Her luck was very good. It should be said that her luck was very good. People with good luck had endless opportunities. This kind of person was usually born at the right time. He looked towards the direction of the island and muttered, "It's coming." Hearing what he said, Sima Yue and Sima Yue's hearts sank. On the way back, Sima Yue and Sima Yue felt that the sea was unstable. The sea beasts they met were many times more than the ones they met before. They were also much stronger. There were even many spirit paragon-level divine beasts that came out in groups. Every time those sea beasts got close to them, Chongming would use his sacred beast aura to force them back. He didn't take their lives. The Sima family saw wave after wave of sea beasts retreat and rejoiced. "It's a good thing that we have him. Otherwise, who knows how many things would have happened on our way back." Half a month later, they returned to In City. They changed to flying beasts and returned to Anyang City. Sima Lin was extremely happy when he knew that they had found the moon breath grass and sunset cloud flower. When he heard about what had happened on Forgotten Worry Island, his eyebrows furrowed, saying, "Are we really going to lose the sea?" "Clan leader, the turbulence in the sea will definitely affect the land. We have to plan ahead," Eldest Elder said. "That is inevitable. However, our current situation is not good. We have to take care of both sides." Sima Lin said, "However, the focus should still be on the younger generation. Clan leader, I feel that Sima Yue, that child, will be a great help to the rise of our Sima family." 10th Elder said. "Why do you say that?" Sima Lin asked. "That child is brave and resourceful. Even young Master Yu Lin, who has always been indifferent, is close to her." 10th Elder said, "If it weren't for her this time, not to mention finding the moon breath grass and sunset cloud flower, even we would have died on Forgotten Worry Island. I feel that she is someone who is born at the right time. She will change the world." Eldest Elder said. "Maybe we really have to rely on her." Sima Lin said, "Once she came, little uncle's 100-year-old illness was cured. The truth of that year was also revealed. The previous clan leader's injuries also have hope of being cured. She even saved your lives. No wonder old ancestors said that she would be our lucky star." Chapter 244. Sima Yue did not care about how Sima Lin and the rest were discussing about her. All of her attention was on the Scarlet Queen Bee. "Brother, Is the Scarlet Queen Bee really that powerful? Little Two asked curiously as he laid on the table and looked at the Scarlet Queen Bee on Sima Yue's shoulder. Of course. Sima Yue said proudly, you'll know how powerful it is in the future. How much longer? Little Two curled his lips. Soon. It has already started laying eggs these few days. Scarlet bees will come out. Soon, you will have scarlet honey to eat. Sima Yue said with a smile. What did you say you met when you left? Wei Ziqi asked. A strange black light soared into the sky and sucked in all the creatures on the island. Sima Yue's expression turned serious as she said, that black light is terrifying. Chongming said that the creatures under Wangyu Island are stronger than him. Was it suppressed there? Fatty Chu asked. We don't know either. Sima Yue said, but I have a feeling that once that creature comes out, it will be a disaster. Therefore, we must increase our strength as soon as possible. I've been training very hard recently. Little Two nodded. Not only will the sea be in danger, but the continent will also not be peaceful. Sima Yu said, the previous patriarch of the Sima clan was actually injured by someone. The person who injured him is definitely not an ordinary person or power. The Sima clan will definitely take revenge. I'm afraid there will be a storm when the time comes. Will you participate in the gathering 2 years later? Bei Gong Tang asked. Let's see how it goes. Sima Yue said, let's improve our abilities first. I heard that Sima brought Sima Yue and the others to seek refuge with the Nalan clan. Ouyang Fei said, the Nalan family has always been at odds with the Sima family, and they have the power to go against the Sima family. It's expected that they would seek refuge with them. Sima Yue said, however, many of the Sima family's secrets were found out by the Nalan family. It will be very disadvantageous for the event 2 years later. Yue, are you thinking of making a move? Fatty Chu looked at her and chuckled. What do you mean by I want to take action? Sima Yue glared at Fatty Chu, unhappy that he had seen through her intentions. I've seen that you've been observing the Sima family all this while to see if they're suitable for the general and the others to stay. Now, you should have approved of them. Wei Ziqi said. Bei Gong Tang continued, since you've already decided to let them stay, you would want to give them a more stable environment. However, the Sima family seems to be a fat piece of meat in the eyes of many powers. So we're guessing that you're about to make a move. Fatty Chu concluded. What kind of move can I make? I'm just a normal person. What can I do? Sima Yue said. Big Brother is thinking of bad ideas again. Little Two laughed. When have I ever thought of bad ideas? Sima Yue stretched out her hand and knocked his head, saying, Big Brother is pure and kind. You can't slander me, okay? Enough, don't teach him bad things. Bei Gong Tang glared at Sima Yue. This guy's skin was getting thicker and thicker. Let's not talk about this first. I want you to go to the pagoda to cultivate. You can come out when you're about to advance in rank. Sima Yue said, if you don't want to go in, you can do it outside. We want to go in. Fatty Chu was the first to express his opinion. You've said it before. We've already gained enough experience. The main thing now is to calm down and cultivate. Your place is so good, of course we want to go. Us too. Wei Ziqi said. Big sister, where are we going? Little Two asked. We're going to a good place. Fatty Chu said, that place is our secret. You have to promise that you won't tell anyone. If not, we won't bring you along when we go. I definitely won't tell anyone. Don't leave me alone. Little Two said. We won't leave you behind. Bei Gong Tang patted his head and said, then tell the servant girls that you're going out. Okay. Sima Yue brought them along and left. Along the way, they chose a place where there was no one and kept them in the spirit pagoda. Little Two was extremely happy when he went in. Bei Gong Tang and the others brought him to familiarize himself with the environment inside. After that, they threw him to one side to cultivate. Sima Yue returned to the Sima residence. The moment she entered, someone said that Sima Lin was looking for her. She followed the guard to the main hall. At this moment, there were only 2 people in the main hall. Sima Yue cupped her hands and bowed to them. Clan head, Great Elder, you were looking for me? Yue, it's all thanks to you that we were able to go out to sea this time. Otherwise, my Sima family would have lost many people. Sima Lin said. It's nothing much. I was just trying to protect myself at that time. Sima Yue replied. The other medicinal ingredients that you requested have already been gathered. When do you plan to start the treatment? Sima Lin said. Any time is fine. Sima Yue said, but we have to refine the pill first. Then I'll give you the ingredients. Once you've refined the pill, just let us know if you need anything else. Sima Lin said as he passed a spatial ring to Sima Yue. It was filled with the ingredients that she had requested. Sima Yue took the ring and said, okay. After that, she took her leave and returned to the courtyard that she was currently living in. That was originally Sima Jun's courtyard. However, after his injuries had healed, he said that he wanted to go out for a walk and see the outside world. He left 2 days after she had gone out to sea. Now, only Sima Lai and his grandson were living in this courtyard. Grandfather, I'm back. Sima Yue said when she saw that Sima Lai was not cultivating. How are those children doing? Sima Lai knew that she had gone to look for Wei Ziqi and the others and asked. They're all right. Sima Yue said, Grandfather, where are my brothers and the others? They're all in the house. What's wrong? Sima Lai asked. I have something to tell you. Sima Yue said, I'll call them out. Sima Yuming and the others had been focused on cultivating recently. They only found out that the people outside were much stronger than those in the Dongchen Kingdom when they came to the Central Wu Kingdom. Although they had advanced quite a bit, their current strength was still not enough. Yu, what did you call us over for? Sima Yuran asked. Sima Yue told them about the black light and the turmoil in the ocean before saying, I'll bring you to a place where you can cultivate faster and increase your strength. After speaking, she brought them all into the spirit pagoda. The surroundings suddenly changed and Sima Lai and the others were shocked. When they saw that Sima Yue was there as well, they did not move. Yu, where is this? Sima Yulu asked. This is the spirit pagoda. It's a world of its own. 3 days here is equivalent to 1 day outside. Furthermore, the spiritual energy here is denser than outside. You can cultivate here and your strength will definitely increase very quickly. Chapter 245. Your world. Sima Yuran lost his cool. This place actually belonged to her. Is it from the things your father left for you? Sima Lai asked. Yes. Sima Yue said, the thing in the box that father left behind. But at that time, it wasn't as good as it is now. This is the result after it merged with the library. Our library? Sima Yuming asked. Sima Yue nodded and brought them to where Little Pagoda was. She said, the library pavilion is actually an ancient divine weapon with 7 levels. However, the weapon spirit has disappeared, so it is useless now. It can only be used as a storage. Later, I thought of a way to fuse it with the soul pearl, and it became what it is now. What does the top of the pagoda look like? Sima Yulu asked. I don't know either. I haven't activated the 2nd level yet. Sima Yue said, I'll bring you to the place where you live now. She brought them to the front of the house, and seeing that Wei Ziqi was not cultivating, she let him bring them to understand the place, while she herself went into the pill refining room to refine pills. By the time she finished refining the pills and came out, Sima Lai and the others had already familiarized themselves with the things here and had officially integrated into this place. Grandpa, big brother, if you have time, you should cultivate here and try to raise your strength as soon as possible. You can do whatever you want and take whatever you need. Okay, go ahead. They nodded and then went to do their own things, ignoring her. Sima Yue laughed and shook her head when she saw how quickly they accepted the situation. Then she left in a flash. She then went to look for Sima Lin and told him that she had already prepared the pills and could go treat the previous patriarch. After that, she, Sima Lin, the great clan elder and a clan's alchemist went to the cave together. This alchemist had always been a follower of the previous family head. He was here to assist Sima Yue. Sima Lin and the great clan elder worked together to remove the secret technique from the previous patriarch's body. Sima Yue immediately felt his life force slipping away. No wonder they had chosen to use the secret technique to preserve his life. She came up and fed the pill into his mouth. After that, she placed him into a bucket filled with medicinal ingredients. Using the pill, she began to reconnect his muscles and bones. The method was similar to the one she had used to save Bai Yuan Chun, but the difficulty was much higher. She stayed in the cave with the great elder for 3 days and completely healed his body. Then, she had someone bring him back to Sima Jun's courtyard. At this moment, the previous head of the family was like a living corpse. Sima Yue had to wake him up, or else he would be in a deep sleep forever. However, she was too tired now and had to rest. Otherwise, she would collapse before she could save the other party. In the 2 days that she had been recovering her mental strength, Sima Yulin and Sima Yulan had been guarding her, protecting her. At the same time, they were also protecting the previous clan leader. If Sima Lin had sent an expert over, then the news of him being alive might have been leaked out, but sending a junior over would not attract the attention of others. Sima Yue opened her eyes and saw Sima Yulan and the others. She was stunned, saying, "What are you guys doing here?" "We're here to protect you," Sima Yulan said. "At the same time, we're here to see how you're going to save eldest grandfather." Sima Yue came down from the bed and saw that Sima Tai was sleeping beside her. "The clan leader sent you guys to protect us. He's really at ease," Sima Yue said as she put on her shoes. "Grandfather knows that you don't need protection," Sima Yulan said with a smile. Sima Yue rolled her eyes at her and took out the pill furnace. She took out the moon breath grass, sunset cloud flower and a few other medicinal ingredients and refined them together. After that, she put the brown honey in to refine it. She stopped the fire before it even formed a pill. "Aren't you going to refine a pill?" Sima Yulan came over and asked. "Who said that I didn't refine a pill?" Sima Yue took out a pill from the middle of the medicinal liquid and put it in Sima Tai's mouth. She got Sima Yulin to fill a bucket with water and poured the medicinal liquid from the pill furnace into the water. After that, she got him to bathe Sima Tai while she went out with Sima Yulan. Sima Yulin saw that Sima Yue was ordering him around like a servant and his mouth twitched. However, he still resigned himself to his fate and went out. "Who asked him to be the only male here?" Sima Yulan saw that the courtyard was empty and asked, "Where's your grandfather and the others?" "They went out," Sima Yue said without blinking. Sima Yulan nodded. She saw that Sima Yue was staring at her with a strange expression. She subconsciously put her hands in front of her chest and asked, "Why are you looking at me like that? Do you know what kind of spirit beast's bloodline is in your body?" Sima Yue asked. Sima Yulan shook her head, saying, "Why are you asking this?" "Nothing much. I just want to use you as an experiment," Sima Yue said sheepishly. She didn't know the bloodline, so this was a little difficult. Sima Yulan's face was full of black lines. "Using her as an experiment? Why do I feel like you're a little dangerous?" Sima Yue smiled, saying, "No way. I'm so kind, pure and handsome, how could I be associated with danger? You must be mistaken." Sima Yulan pursed her lips. Only she would believe her. Inside the house, Sima Yulin stripped Sima Tai of his clothes and placed him in a bucket of water. He followed Sima Yue's instructions and directed the medicine into his body. However, even after the water had cleared up, he did not wake up. "Do I really have to do as she says?" He saw that Sima Tai showed no signs of waking up and said hesitantly. He raised his hand and put it down. After that, he raised it again and put it down again. "In order to wake eldest grandfather, I'll just have to be punished." After speaking, he gritted his teeth and slapped Sima Tai's face twice. The sound traveled outside. Slap slap. Sima Yue and Sima Yulan, who were chatting, were shocked and looked towards the house, saying, "He couldn't have really slapped eldest grandfather, right?" Sima Yue spat out all the tea in her mouth, saying, "No way? I was just kidding." Slap slap. 2 more slaps were heard and Sima Yue quickly put down the cup in her hand and pushed the door open. She happened to see an old man and a young man staring at each other. He really woke up? She muttered. She thought about how Sima Tai was still naked in the bucket of water. Although she could not see him from the door, she still retreated. "Brat, you dare to slap me?" Sima Tai glared at Sima Yulin. Sima Yulin's scalp went numb, saying, "You said that if the water cleared up and you didn't wake up, I should give your body some stimulation. She also said that the face was closer to the brain, so slapping would be more effective." "Who is you?" Sima Tai asked with a dark expression. "She's Grandpa Lai's grandson. She's the one who saved you," Sima Yulin said. At this time, Sima Yue said from outside, "Big brother Yulin, don't slander me. I said that it might be effective. I didn't really ask you to slap me." Chapter 145. After settling the family matters, Sima Yue went to school. She had not graduated yet, and the principal knew that he had given her some time off. Seeing that the Sima family was on the right track, she went back to continue her studies. In fact, for the current her, there wasn't much she could learn here, but she didn't want to give up halfway. The Sima family also needed her attention, so she didn't plan to leave for the time being. When he returned to the dormitory, Wei Ziqi and the others had already gone to class. There was not a single person in the dormitory. Thinking back to the last time he was here, he was still a young master who did not need to consider anything. The next time he was here, he had already become the head of the family. I'm sure no one has ever seen the head of the household come to school. After tidying up the house, it was already noon. Remembering that she hadn't eaten for a long time, she also wanted to thank everyone for their concern and help during this period of time, so she went to the kitchen to cook a few dishes. I knew it. Just by smelling this fragrance, I knew that Yue had returned. Fatty Chu's voice could be heard even before he arrived. His nose had always been very sensitive when it came to food. The four of them went to the kitchen and saw Sima Yue sitting at the table waiting for them. They walked over and sat down to eat. "Have you settled the matter?" Wei Ziqi asked. "Everything is almost on track. The rest will need to be done slowly." Sima Yue said that the most important thing now was to tame the hundreds of spirit beasts. However, the spirit beasts had not arrived yet, so she did not have to rush. "The speed at which your house was being built really blinded our eyes. We haven't gone out for a few days, and when we went out yesterday, we discovered that your house had already been built." Fatty Chu picked up a piece of meat and placed it in his mouth as he spoke. "Let's not talk about you guys. Even I was shocked." Sima Yue said, "I went into seclusion for a few days. When I came out, I saw that the flat ground had turned into a courtyard. It was horrifying. I didn't know that houses could be repaired so quickly. I heard that it was because there were many people working together, that's why it was so fast." Wei Ziqi said, "This is also good. You've recruited so many new people, so you need a place to make arrangements." Sima Yue nodded and asked, "How have you been?" "The academy is pretty much the same as before, but now when we walk in the academy, we often meet some girls who come looking for us. Extremely annoying." Wei Ziqi said. Sima Yue blinked. "Could it be that both of you are in love? Did someone confess to you? It's not that our peach blossoms have blossomed, it's your peach blossoms that have blossomed." Sima Lin shook his head and said, "If it was you, the clan would not be like this. I've kept this for you for 3 years. Now I'm returning it to you." As he spoke, he took out a box and handed it to Sima Tai. Sima Yue glanced at it and guessed that it was something like the patriarch's seal. "That box is a treasure." She couldn't help but say, but it attracted the stares of a group of people. She shrunk her neck and stopped talking. "Patriarch, this child is from Lai's bloodline. He was adopted by Lai." Sima Lin said. "Amazing medical skills." Sima Tai looked at Sima Yue. Not only did she save him, his strength did not decrease at all. Among the doctors that he knew, there was no one who had this kind of medical skills. "Thank you for your praise, Patriarch." Sima Yue cupped her hands and bowed, saying loudly, "I haven't finished." Sima Tai said, "Amazing medical skills, but he needs to be taught a lesson. He must have been spoiled by that guy Lai." Patriarch, you're right. Sima Yulan said with a smile. Zichi and the others said that Grandpa Lai spoiled him a lot, even more than the other brothers. Sima Yue rubbed her nose. In any case, hearing Sima Tai's words, he probably wouldn't pursue this any further. Where's your grandpa? Sima Tai asked. Grandpa and the others have gone out. I don't know when they'll be back. Why don't I go look for them? Sima Yue said. Find them and get them to go to the Great Hall. Sima Tai got off the bed and left after speaking. Sima Lin and the eldest elder followed him. Sima Yulan covered her mouth and looked at Sima Yue, still laughing at her. Sima Yulin walked over and raised his right hand high, looking like he was going to give her a tight slap. However, he stopped when it landed on her head and pinched her ear as punishment. Don't do it again. After speaking, he left as well. Seeing the helplessness in his eyes, she stuck out her tongue at his back. Who knew that he would turn around and see her like this? He was stunned for a moment before leaving with a smile. Sima Yue was stunned when he turned around. She didn't regain her senses even after he left the house. She then beat her chest and stomped her feet. Why did that guy turn around? Her image was gone just like that. Sigh. She let out a long sigh before leaving the Sima family. She found a place to call Sima Lai and the others out. What's wrong? Sima Lai asked. Grandpa, the previous clan leader has been cured by me. Grandpa Lin has returned the position of clan leader to him. They want to see you now. Sima Yue said. Sima Lai and the others knew that Sima Yue wanted to treat Sima Tai. They naturally believed in her medical skills. Now that they heard that Sima Tai had been cured, they weren't surprised. Since that's the case, let's go and see the clan leader. Sima Lai said, Big brother took good care of me and my brothers back then. Grandpa, can I not go? Sima Yue asked. Why? Sima Yue told him about how Sima Yulin had slapped Sima Tai a few times, saying, I'm afraid that he will come to settle the score with me. Sima Yuming and the other three brothers laughed. Sigh, even if you wanted to make fun of Yulin, you shouldn't be like this. Sima Yuran patted her head. How would I know that he would really hit me? Sima Yue felt wronged. He's usually so smart, but at that time he was actually so stupid. Even Sima Lai couldn't help but laugh, saying, Let's go. With me here, no one will harm you. In the end, Sima Yue still went with them. However, she stood at the back, trying not to attract anyone's attention. However, she was the one who had cured the clan leader. How could she be ignored? Every time someone mentioned that she had cured the clan leader, she felt that the palm print on the clan leader's face reddened. After that, everyone left, leaving behind only Sima Yue and Sima Tai. You got Yulin to hit me. Sima Tai spoke first. Isn't this over? Sima Yue muttered, I even saved you. Sima Tai nodded, saying, That's the truth. However, these are two different things. What should be given will be given, and what should be punished will be punished. Sima Yue's eyes widened, saying, You still want to punish me? Chapter 247. Sima Tai looked at Sima Yue's expression with satisfaction and said seriously, Of course, I've always been fair in my rewards and punishments. Then what's the reward? Sima Yue asked. Have you heard that my Sima family has a general election every few years? Sima Tai asked. Sima Yue nodded her head. At that time in the Dongqin Kingdom, Sima Lai had said that the Sima family had something big going on recently, so those people would not look for them so early. In the end, they still came not long after. What's wrong with the election? What does this have to do with rewarding me? Sima Yue was confused. 3 years ago, it was already time for the election, but because I was injured and unconscious, they couldn't find the open mountain seal. Therefore, they didn't proceed with the next step after the election. Sima Tai said, What's next? Enter the ancestral land to search for opportunities. As Sima Tai said this, he couldn't hide the disappointment and worry on his face. What does this have to do with me? Sima Yue said, We didn't make it for the election. This is my reward for you. Sima Tai wasn't in a hurry. He said slowly, You and your 4 brothers can enter the ancestral land with them this time. Especially you. Originally, people who are not related by blood are not allowed to enter, but I will make an exception and let you in. Your family has been around for so many years, I guess you don't have many opportunities left. Sima Yue muttered softly. However, no matter how soft her voice was, it could not escape the ears of a spirit supremacy. Sima Tai laughed heartily and said, "How could my Sima family's ancestral land be emptied so easily? You don't need to worry about that." "Then why are you worried?" Sima Yue asked. "Isn't it because of this?" Sima Tai sighed and shook his head. "That's not what I'm worried about. It's just that the ancestral land hasn't passed down anything for a long time. The inheritance is broken?" Sima Yue was shocked. This was related to the lifeline of a force. "You could say that." Sima Tai sighed and said, "My Sima family doesn't have as many people as the other first-rate powers, but we have always been among them for thousands of years, relying on our inheritance. That's why the Sima family is declining day by day. That's why they've become the target of others." Sima Yue understood. Sima Tai looked at Sima Yue with satisfaction. She was indeed very smart. Many people in the family did not realize this. She had just arrived, but she had already understood the situation that the Sima family was facing. The older generation is still all right. They aren't that weak. However, the younger generation, other than Yulin and a few others, isn't that outstanding. Sima Tai was worried. If this continued, the Sima family would be in danger in a few years. "Can't you pass the inheritance to your juniors directly?" Sima Yue asked. Many of those inheritances are direct benefits, such as increasing one's cultivation level. Very few people obtain spiritual techniques. Raging Flame Slash was passed down from the family land. Sima Tai said, "It's a pity that many inheritances have been broken for some reason. I think Sima Tai was also heavily injured a few hundred years ago. Why do I still feel like this is a delicious cake that can be seen but not touched?" Sima Yue said, "Since no one has obtained much inheritance after so long, it's useless for me to go in. Moreover, I'm not of the Sima family's bloodline." "You're indeed a smart brat." Sima Tai looked at Sima Yue in amusement. "Many inheritances require the Sima family's bloodline to obtain, but some don't. Don't you want to see what you can obtain? Who knows, you might be able to obtain some benefits." Sima Yue rubbed her chin, her index finger touching the tip of her nose. She thought for a while and said, "All right, my character has always been good. Who knows, I might be able to obtain some great fortune." Sima Tai was speechless. This brat was really narcissistic. "All right, now we should talk about the punishment, right?" Sima Yue heard and her face fell, saying, "What punishment?" "Actually, it's very simple." Sima Tai smiled slyly. Sima Yue saw his smile and felt a chill run down her spine. She felt as if she had been targeted by an old fox. As expected, when she came out of the hall, Sima Yue's face was full of bitterness. She turned around and glared at the entrance of the hall, sighed and left. In the hall, Sima Tai touched his swollen face and chuckled, "Nobody has ever slapped my face before. Did you think that these 2 slaps were so easy to give?" If Sima Yue heard what he said, she would definitely vomit blood. The one who had been slapped was obviously not her. Sima Yue was fine, but she was the one who had been oppressed. When she returned to the house, Sima Lai and the others were waiting for her. When they saw her come out with a bitter face, they asked, "Did the clan leader make things difficult for you?" Sima Yue nodded, then shook her head and sighed. "Fifth bro, is the clan leader going to chase you out? If that's the case, we'll leave together." Sima Yulu said. Sima Yue said, "He just ruthlessly oppressed me." "How did he oppress you?" Sima Lai was curious. He used to think that Sima Tai was a little fox, but now he was definitely an old fox. "He asked me to increase the strength of the younger generation." Sima Yue said, "That old fox better not let me get hold of his weakness, or else, Isn't that making things difficult for you?" Sima Yulu was anxious. Sima Yu Ran frowned, saying, "You saved his life, but that's not enough to compensate for those 2 slaps? He said that we should follow the disciples who were chosen 3 years ago to enter the clan grounds. Sima Yue said, he also said that if I'm willing to use this reward to compensate for the punishment, it's fine. Then why don't you compensate for it? Sima Yulu looked at her as if she was stupid. It said that the clan grounds only open once every 10 years. It's a rare opportunity. Who knows, you might be able to obtain some kind of opportunity or inheritance. How could you use it to compensate for it? Sima Yue said, in any case, I don't need to provide the ingredients for those pills. At most, I'll provide some pill recipes, refine some pills, tame some spirit beasts and so on. Furthermore, taming spirit beasts will give me benefits. Sima Yu ran and the others understood. She wasn't dissatisfied with Sima Tai punishing her, but she was unhappy that she was forced to accept it. Sai, you guys wait for them to call you to go to the clan grounds. I'm going to make some food to comfort my hurt heart. Sai, I was the one who saved him. There's no justice in this. Sima Yue whined as she ran to the kitchen to make some food. Seeing her like this, Sima Yu Ming and the other 3 brothers couldn't help but laugh. Ever since she was beaten at the age of 15 and her temperament changed, they had never seen her suffer. The clan grounds are a good place. Who knows, you might be able to find some kind of opportunity. In the past, there were spirit kings who went in and spirit overlords who came out. There might even be people who can learn some unique spirit skills. Sima Lai said, you guys have to make good use of this opportunity. This is something that you fought for you. We will. The 4 of them nodded. At this time, the sound of meat being chopped came from the kitchen, accompanied by the sound of someone gnashing his teeth. Today, we'll have fox meatballs for lunch. I'll chop chop chop. Chapter 248. 2 days later, Sima Yu Yang came over and told them to go to the main house. He said that he wanted to go to the ancestral land. What are you eating? He came to Sima Yu's side and asked when he saw her eating. He smelled the fragrance as soon as he entered the courtyard. Sima Yue raised her head and looked at him. Then, she pointed at the dishes on the stone table and said one by one, this is braised fox, steamed fox head, spicy fox leg, shredded fox meat soup, fox barbecued. Sima Yu Yang's face was full of black lines. Did this guy have a grudge with the fox? After Sima Yue finished her introduction, she raised her head and asked, do you want some? After saying that, he handed him a fox leg. Sima Yu Yang took the fox leg and took a bite. It was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside, fragrant and spicy. It was delicious. Sima Yu Ming and the others came out from the house and saw Sima Yu Yang eating happily. They smiled and said, Yu's cooking isn't bad, right? Delicious. Sima Yu Yang nodded as he ate. Sima Yue rolled her eyes and said, since it's so delicious, why don't you give it to the family head? I've been eating fox every day for the past few days and I'm a little sick of it. I should thank the patriarch for allowing us to go to the ancestral land. Sima Yu Yang nodded, saying, okay, I'll take it over first. Remember to go to the main house early tomorrow. All right. Sima Yu beamed as she said. She watched as Sima Yu Yang kept the table of fox meat into his interspatial ring and left. Ha! She slapped the table and laughed happily. Sima Yu Ming shook his head, saying, You? Sima Yu Yang had gone out a few days ago and had only returned 2 days ago. The moment he came back, he heard that his grandfather had been saved by Sima Yu. He was very grateful to her. This guy really dares to do anything. He was Sima Tai's grandson, so how could he not know what happened between her and his grandfather? Thinking of the table full of fox meat in his ring, he was a little curious about his grandfather's expression when he saw it. Grandfather. He came to Sima Tai's study room. He was the only one there. Have you informed him? Sima Tai asked without raising his head. I've already told them. Sima Yu Yang said, I even brought some good stuff over from there. You said that it was a gift for you. Sima Tai raised his head and looked at him. Seeing the smile in his eyes, he knew that it was not something good. Sima Yu Yang walked over, and with a wave of his hand, the large table was filled with delicacies. The room was immediately filled with the aroma of meat. This was made by Yuyu. She said that it was to thank you for letting them go to the ancestral grounds. She asked me to let you have a taste. Sima Yuyang said with a smile. What are these? Sima Yuyang introduced them one by one. This is braised fox, steamed fox head, spicy fox leg, shredded fox meat soup, fox barbecued. The corner of Sima Tai's mouth twitched, but it didn't escape Sima Yuyang's eyes. He was laughing in his heart, but he didn't dare to show it. Sima Tai took a bite of the fox leg and said, Go tell her that it tastes good. It's a pity that the fox is too old and affects the taste. Why don't we change it to a few little foxes? When Sima Yuyu heard what Sima Yuyang said, the hand that was chopping the fox meat paused for a moment, then said, My fox meatballs definitely won't let him say that the meat is too old. After speaking, she started chopping fiercely. Sima Yuyang looked at her with a smile, willing to be their messenger. An old fox against a little fox. This was the first time he had seen someone go against his own grandfather. Once the meatballs were done, Sima Yuyang tasted some and took a bowl to look for Sima Tai. After a while, he came back with news, saying, The meatballs are delicious. Next time, I want to eat roasted chicken. Clang dash, Sima Yu slashed the knife in her hand fiercely on the chopping block, gritting her teeth and saying, You still treat me as a chef. This young master is tired today, I'm not cooking anymore. Sima Yuyang passed the message to Sima Tai, and Sima Tai merely smiled, saying, A little fox is a little fox. However, the fox meatball dish was stopped because of this. On the next day, Sima Yuyu and her 4 brothers went to the main house together. The huge house was already filled with over 100 youths. I didn't feel it before, but now I realize that the Sima family really has a lot of people. Sima Yulu stood at the side of the house and sighed. And this is just a selection. Sima Yuyu said, It said that only 150 people can enter at a time. Otherwise, there will be more people. Sima Kai's group of people left, so we used their quota. Sima Yuming said, In any case, it doesn't affect the others. That old fox. Sima Yuyu clenched her teeth. Everyone knew that Sima Yuyu had saved the clan leader, and the clan leader had promised to let them enter the clan together. As a result, when they saw that they had returned, nobody had any objections. Instead, they greeted them in a friendly manner. Sima Tai, Sima Lin and a group of elders came to the house and swept their eyes over the people in the house. When they saw a certain someone's sour face, the old fox smiled unkindly. He waved his hands and the whole house quietened down. 3 years ago, you passed the selection. However, because I was injured and unconscious, you have not been able to enter the clan until now. Today, I will open the clan grounds for you. You can go in and look for your opportunities. He glanced at Sima Lin, and Sima Lin inserted spiritual energy into a few places. The whole house flashed with light, and the ground flashed with light. It was actually a teleportation array. Sima Yuyu felt a wave of dizziness. When her feet touched the ground, they had already left the Sima residence and appeared in a valley. Which mountain is this? It doesn't seem to be the mountain range behind us. That's not right either. This place shouldn't be far from the clan. While everyone was guessing the location, Sima Yuyu was thinking about the teleportation array just now. There wasn't a teleportation array drawn on the ground. He only used spiritual energy to draw a temporary teleportation array. Grandpa Lin's attainments in arrays are definitely not low. When I have time, I can look for him to give me some pointers. She said in her heart. Ever since Feng Zhixing left, she had been fumbling around with arrays on her own. Although her array skills were not bad, if she could get some pointers from Sima Lin, she would definitely improve. After the clan grounds open, you can go in and look for your opportunities. You have 2 days. Sima Tai said. 2 days so short? Everyone exclaimed. Let me finish speaking. Sima Tai waved his hands and said, The inside is different from the outside. 1 day outside is more time inside, so you have 2 months inside. Wow, that's great. Sima Yuyu's heart skipped a beat. This was similar to the spirit pagoda. Some inheritances require you to go through trials. Once you go in, you must grab hold of the opportunity. After saying that, he took out a small seal and placed it in a groove at the foot of the mountain. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The wall shook, and a human-sized cave appeared. A white light shone from the mountain and shone on the young man. After the white light passed, only Sima Tai and the elders were left in the valley. Chapter 249. Sima Yue was sucked into the white light. When she opened her eyes again, she and her four brothers were already standing in another place. This is a grassland? Everyone looked at the scene in front of them in surprise. The grass was luxuriant and stretched as far as the eye could see. If this was not a grassland, then what was it? This is the clan's land? There's nothing. Sima Yue said. Sima Yue looked at it and said, I think so. That old fox didn't say what this place was like, but he did say that there were a lot of opportunities. It should be a very wide range. There's nothing here. What kind of opportunity or inheritance can we get? Sima Yue said. This was originally an opportunity for us. We'll get whatever we can get. If we can't, we'll just take it as a chance to see what the clan's land is like. Sima Yue Ming's heart understood. Sima Yue Ran nodded as well, saying, since Patriarch has said that the number of inheritances has been decreasing in recent years, I'm guessing that the number of things here should be decreasing as well. You're right. Sima Yue nodded. Seeing Sima Yue looking around curiously, he asked, Yu, what are you looking at? I'm wondering if this place is like the spirit pagoda, inside a spiritual weapon. Sima Yue replied. Of course not. Little Spirit exclaimed, I'm the only life spirit weapon in this world. How could there be a spirit weapon here? If it's not a spirit tool, then what is it? Sima Yue asked. With a wave of energy, Little Spirit appeared in Sima Yue's embrace. Ever since it became a spirit pagoda, it could leave the spirit pagoda and go outside. He looked around and said, this should be a paradise. Heavenly abode? Everyone looked at Little Spirit and asked, what is a heavenly abode? It's just some small worlds in the space. Little Roar opened his mouth and said, in the primordial lands, many clans have such places. Usually, it is a space opened up by the ancestors who have achieved great success. The Sima family actually has a place like this. Sima Yue said. Who knows, this Sima family might have moved down from the upper realm. Little Roar said, this kind of heavenly paradise is not something that this world's power can possess. Maybe that's the case. Sima Yue said, a day outside is equivalent to a month inside. It would be great if we could cultivate here forever. It's not impossible. Little Roar said, this kind of space is based on the strength of the person who created it. Some could only stay in there for a few days, while others could stay in there for a few years. The most amazing ones were the Shadow Clan of the Desolate Era. They lived in such a space. 2 months should be the limit for this place. There are people who live in this kind of space? Sima Yue's eyes widened. Yeah. Little Roar nodded his head and said, however, that kind of place is only slightly denser in spiritual energy. The flow of time is the same as outside. I see. Sima Yue was a little disappointed. Of course. Little Roar rolled his eyes at Sima Yue saying, everything in this world has its own set of rules. It's impossible for everything to be the same. Otherwise, this world would fall into chaos. What's the point of thinking so much? Sima Yue knocked on Sima Yue's head, saying, since we're here, let's take a look around and see if we can find anything. Sima Yue kept Little Spirit away and hugged Little Roar. She and the others randomly chose a direction and left. Hey, we can't fly in here. It's true. Then we can only use flying beasts. Sima Yue called out Little Rock. Before they even took off, they heard a commotion. Someone was flying towards them. It's Sima Yulin and Sima Yulan. There's also Sima Yuqing and Sima Yulin. Why are they being chased by a group of spirit beasts? Those spirit beasts, damn, they're all divine beasts. Quickly get on Little Rock's back. Sima Yoyue's expression was serious. With so many divine beasts, they couldn't fight them head-on. She shouted at Sima Yulin and the others. Sima Yulin saw them and said, "Hold on a little longer. Let's go to Yue's side." Sima Yulan and the others originally didn't have much energy left. When they saw Little Rock, they used their last bit of energy to run over. Little Rock waited for them to all come up before spreading his wings and flying away, leaving behind those divine beasts to stare. Sima Yu-yang directly lay on Little Rock's back, saying, "It's so good to have a flying beast. We can even fly in this kind of place. I'll go look for one when we get back. I couldn't even run just now. If we didn't meet you guys, we would be in danger." Sima Yuqing said gratefully. "How did you guys meet those divine beasts?" Sima Yuqi asked. "We didn't meet them at all." Sima Yuqing sighed, saying, "The four of us just happened to fall into their midst when we arrived. Don't even mention how tragic it was." Sima Yue smiled, saying, "The four of you are the best of the younger generation in the Sima family. Who would have thought that your luck would be so good that you would directly meet a group of divine beasts? If we could bring these divine beasts out, wouldn't the Sima family be even stronger?" Sima Yulu said. "That's impossible." Sima Yu-yang sat up, saying, "Those who can enter are all below the age of 35. At most, 150 people can enter each time. And those spirit beasts have lived for hundreds to thousands of years. Almost all of them have become divine beasts. How would we be able to defeat them? Let's not even talk about bringing them out. If we meet them, it's already not bad that we can preserve our lives." It's not that no one has ever thought about taking advantage of the divine beasts here. But in the end, they could only watch as these divine beasts became stronger and stronger. Occasionally, someone would be able to tame one or two, but they couldn't bring them out. Because there was no way to form a contract, they couldn't leave this place. Sima Yulin added, "For those below the age of 35, even if they are beast tamers, their ranks won't be very high. They won't be able to tame these divine beasts." Sima Yuqing said with a sigh. "If the divine beasts here could be brought out, our Sima family's strength would increase by a lot. It's a pity." Sima Yulan said regretfully. Sima Yu rubbed her chin and looked at the divine beasts below, saying, "We have to think of a way to get rid of them all at once. Yu, forget it. Didn't I say that we have to tame them and bring them out? Otherwise, they won't be able to leave." Sima Yang said. Sima Yu smiled and didn't say anything else. Only her brothers and Sima Yulin knew that she wasn't joking. Chirp chirp dash, they had just flown over the plains and climbed over a mountain when a flock of birds suddenly appeared behind them. Goshawks, giant eagles, vultures and so on. They all chased after them. "Damn, there are so many birds." Sima Yu saw those birds and jumped up excitedly. It was a pity that he could only look at them. He couldn't have them. Who dash? That giant eagle spat out a ball of fire. Little Rock dodged to the side, barely avoiding it. "These birds are very fierce. They're chasing us now. We can only hide." Sima Yuqing looked at those birds. Every single one of them had a fierce gaze, as if they wanted to eat them all. "Ate just right." Sima Yu said as she looked at them, "Since we've met, I'll give you a gift." "Yu-yang, didn't you say that you wanted a flying beast?" Little Rock, land on the ground. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.